Morning, Lexiot's here, Raptor Freak here. I'm a little weird today because I didn't get really good sleep last night in weird ways, but I'm gonna plug through it and do my best either way. So that my responses and the way I talk today may be a little different than normal because I'm operating on not a lot of sleep. Now, I did see this is the weird thing. I missed the stream last night, Tom Duke. I see you here with your Rebus already coming in here. But I did see that you and Shane and other people were on the stream last night with Scotty. He twitched for about 4 hours. I reviewed the stream last night after it happened because I couldn't sleep. After I woke up after he had finished, and I ended up watching the stream right after in the middle of the night last night. So I saw you, Tom Duke. I saw you mention me and say that you were there because of the Raptor Freak. And there was also something very interesting that happened at the end of the stream. I don't know if you watched it all the way to the end, Tom. They're talking about getting the Discord server together so that Scotty Barnes can do reactions more easily, and they need moderators for this. And you know what? I wasn't even there, and Lloyd was pushing me to be the moderator for Scotty's Twitch stream. So I'm all about it. Like I wasn't there to say yes, but Lloyd was putting in a good word for me as a regular on the stream. So even though I didn't make the stream, I was a present because of people like Tom Duke put my name in there, and also just them saying that later in the end of the stream and stuff like that. But Scotty's stream was interesting. It seemed like he was just playing a lot of Call of Duty, and then he played some 2K, and he was having some good luck last night. They were winning on Call of Duty, getting some good wins and stuff like that. And then the 2K was kind of fun. He was getting distracted away at different times, so then he came back and they'd win, and then he was into like kind of watching videos at the end. He was watching some mixed martial arts videos, a little bit of basketball highlights and stuff like that. There was a little bit more of him watching Toronto Raptors highlights, which is extremely enjoyable to me. That's the best thing that I love, watching him watch the Raptors play and break down what was going on at that moment in his mind and what he was doing. That whole section of the Twitch is just fantastic. And there was more of it again last night. Good morning, Monique. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better as well. I'm feeling better. I just didn't sleep at all last night. So today, I really wanted to have the think tank talk about the off season for the Raptors so far. And when I talk about this, it doesn't mean the off season is over for them. There are still little things that they could do and things that they could change about the roster before we get the regular season roster, the final 17 guys are going to be on the team. There could still be one more free agent signing with some of the MLE money that we have left over. There could be, all kinds of different things that could happen in the next 2.5 months before the next season starts. But most of what has happened for the offseason has happened. That we do know a lot already, that we have seen our draft, we've seen our summer league, we've seen different hirings and different things like that. And I just wanted to go through some of the major moves that the Raptors have made, because in some ways, in the whole general NBA scheme of things, they don't look like very major moves, but they are actually, if you really take a deeper look. So Tom Duke's saying, I did not finish the stream because I am old and had to go to bed. Meanwhile, Scotty was all hyped up on Eastern time. It's crazy. You West Coast guys kind of have an advantage because you're behind. When it's like 2 in the morning here, it's still 11 there. Yeah, these guys are crazy. And like they were even telling Scotty, like it's late, let's go to bed. And Scotty's just like, come on, family, let's have some fun. Let's keep going. Oh, it's the best, man. Scotty's so fun. And he's just a joy. He's just a joy. He was watching some Miles Bridges highlights at one point, and they were talking. They were making all kinds of jokes about him going to prison and stuff like that, bad stuff like that and stuff. But the stream was a little crazy last night. I wish I'd been there live for it. I could have kept some of the people in the stream a little bit more in check, because there was a lot of idiots in the stream last night talking all kinds of crazy stuff. I Smoke Rocks saying, Raptor Freak, you look like the Toronto Raps goalie with that robe. This is actually just a blanket. You like this? I look like the goalie. I like that, Smoke Rocks. I'll take it. You know what? Maybe it's a little bit of Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! Ric Flair's last match, July 31st in Nashville. He's teaming up with his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolio, and they're taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And they had such an interesting thing that happened out in the parking lot where they beat the crap out of poor old 70-year-old Ric Flair and made him bleed all over the place. And Jeff Jarrett's wife was laughing at him, and like, God, it's just really a bad scene. Jay Lethal like really wanted to kill the man, and now they're gonna have a match. It's gonna be Ric Flair's last match, July 31st, Nashville. Yeah, there you go, a little bit of that, but yeah, yeah, it's just a blanket. It's a little chilly in my lady's house here where I'm at. The thermostat's a little low, and I just want to stay a little warm right now because I haven't been feeling well. Tom Duke's saying his buddy had to work at 6 a.m., but Scotty bullied him to stay. I know he was doing that to his friends. He's like, and we found out Lloyd's working at Lowe's late last night. He's like, man, I got to go to work at Lowe's. And Scotty's like, you're working at Lowe's right now? He's like, he didn't even know where he was working and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun chat. It's always fun. And we're getting to know his friends a bit better. People like Kenny and Scotty. I mean, Scotty's friends, Kenny and Lloyd and Nick and John and stuff like that. So Monique's saying Fred workouts are something else. So amped. Oh, Monique, I'm so glad you brought this up. There's a clip of Fred working out right now to Drake's song from his new album with 21 Savage. That's the last track on Honestly Nevermind. That is the fire track from the new Drake album. And there's a one part of the passage where he says, now you're a shooting guard. And it's playing with Fred, and he's playing. And to me, it was so inspiring because the music of Drake is very Toronto, is very Raptors in a lot of ways, just because of his connection to the team, and that Fred being like a twin of Drake's and stuff like that. You guys got to go see this clip. I think it's on Fred's Instagram. It may be also on the Raptors Instagram. Fly Guy Films, I think, is the people who filmed it and put it together. But it's a really nice workout clip where he's putting in work, he's dribbling, and then the lyric is just perfect to go with possibly the transition that Fred VanVleet is going to be making this season with his play and his position. Because like the lyric literally says, you're a shooting guard. And I'm like, man, that fits so well. And maybe that's why Fred has that. He's put in there and that he's making the message out there. The guys, my mindset's going to be different this year. And you could be ready to expect, Scotty passing me the ball and I'm the shooting guard now and stuff like that. I just love that he did that. And I love the song too. It's so fire. Drake and 21 Savage. I forget the name of the song, but it's the last song on Honestly Nevermind, Drake's latest album, stuff like that. I'm amped too. Like when I watched that and I saw the way that they produced it, and they always have good production with Open Gym and stuff like that. But it's just that it's put with the beats and the nice little shots of Fred working, and then with Drake's lyric to it. Man, such a great little clip. It had me hyped. It really got me amped too, Monique. Tom Duke saying Shane got a great answer about his injury. I know, Shane. I saw that. I was going to say something about this. Shane, you straight up asked Scotty about when Joel Embiid stepped on his ankle, and he answered you. I was like, Shane Waters, you go, man. I saw that when I watched the replay this morning. I was like, and he straight up answered you. He's like, yo, man, it was like walking on one leg. It was like I was on one leg, is what he told Shane, talking about that horrible thing that happened in the first game of the playoffs this season with Joel Embiid stepping on Scotty Barnes' ankle. And Shane said, what happened there? And Scotty said, man, it was like being on one leg. His injury was pretty bad. Like, you gotta wonder, when he was held out those games, like in game 2 and game 3, you were like, man, you really would want to play if he could. And he couldn't, because that was that bad. You could tell when he was telling Shane about that. It was a really bad injury. Race Mode Daly's going, woo, talking about the nature boy. Oh, yeah, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! Yeah. I could do some Ric Flair. Shane saying, morning, friends. Yes, he says, ask Scotty how wrecked his ankle was in the Philly series last night. The man said he was standing on one leg. Yeah, that was awesome, Shane. What a great moment. I was glad you got your point. You beat him to it. I saw it, though. See, this is the thing. I got up in the middle of the night, and I saw that he streamed, and I got up like maybe an hour after he ended. And I was like, holy crap, Scotty was on for 4 hours while I was already sleeping. So I had to watch it, and I saw it. I watched the whole thing just to be caught up. And I saw when you did that, Shane. I was so proud of you guys being in there and stuff. Yeah, Scotty's fun. And you really get it's crazy to have this kind of insider access to him and be able to ask him these kind of questions because he's answering them. He has no problem. It's so crazy the kind of stuff we're finding out about him and how he views the team and stuff like that. It really does inform so much stuff, like why he didn't react to LeBron James when he slung the ball at him in his midsection in that one game against the Lakers. We understand it now because he has an immense respect for LeBron, first of all. And then second, he doesn't believe in reacting or getting angry on the court in that kind of way. That he doesn't want people to bait him into losing control of his emotions. That he'll lose control of his emotions if he feels like it because he's pissed off and he wants to go dunk on somebody, but he doesn't want it to be manipulated because they did something to him and that pissed him off and stuff like that. He has a very interesting logic, and I'm learning more and more about it. He is all about love because I think in some ways Scotty's figured out that people in the NBA feast on hate. And then when you hate on someone in the league, that just fuels their fire. So it's like Sky's saying, don't hate on anybody because then we won't be fueling no fires and stuff like that. So, Steph Curry was interesting last night. They had the ESPYs last night, and they might as well just called it the Golden State, we're going to roast everybody else show. Because they won all the awards. It was the Warriors won all the awards, best team, Steph Curry, best NBA player, comeback player of the year, Klay Thompson. Draymond's there, and they're just having a Golden State Warriors party on the ESPYs last night. It was silly. Some of his jokes were really funny and stuff like that, but the ESPYs are kind of dumb in a lot of ways too and stuff like that. So let's see. Monique saying, what did you take away from the Curry interview? That was really interesting too. There's a really nice half-hour long Eric Curry interview from yesterday talking about him coming in as the 905 head coach now. And yeah, I watched it, and he is really interesting person. The way he sees the world, Monique, is very strange. Like he's looking at it, as he said, from a physics standpoint. Like that's where he comes from, is a very scientific kind of perspective, that it's like very much either success or failure is the two outcomes. And he looks at everything in a binary chance, like of either happening or it doesn't happen. And this informs how he coaches. This informs how he makes decisions about what the guys should be doing on the court and stuff like that. And that's really intriguing to me. That when you take it from that kind of an analytical scientific approach, that's very interesting. And it's very interesting that he's risen to this point and stuff like that. So it was cool listening to Eric talk about his journey with the Raptors, about how he got the job. His mom suggested it to him and said, this is the same program that he's using for his stuff in science for basketball, and he loved basketball. So he's like, you know what, let me go try. And boom, he made himself a crazy career from a science world into basketball. Absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for him. He seems like he's a good coach. And I really like what he said, Monique. He said, my main job as the coach of the 905 is to get these players ready to play for the main roster Raptors and to play that style and play for them. And that's what he's all about and stuff like that. But yeah, really impressed with Eric Curry. I think the 905 will be interesting this year because he's a different kind of coach than Patrick Mutombo. But I think they'll find success and do very well anyway. So that's pretty good. Shane Waters is saying that is such a good attribute for a young kid. Not losing my shit is still hard at 43. I'm with you, Shane Waters. I realized this about Scotty when he was getting mad at me for hating Richard Jefferson. That I realized it's like, look, this guy, he could be upset with Richard Jefferson because in some ways, Richard Jefferson slighted the Raptors for a long time. And now also he's kind of sliding Scotty after he's even seen him and stuff like that. Like he does throw shade on the Raptors and Scotty Barnes in particular on ESPN still in little ugly ways. And I'm like, I hate the guy. I say it. And then Scotty's like, no, fam, listen. You don't hate anyone, just love people. Don't hate people and stuff like that. And I was really been meditating and reflecting on what he said to me in my own life and how I could change and become a better person. So this is really good. Yeah, respectful, humble, confident. Yeah, Tom Duke. Yeah, man. He is something else, and like we're gonna see something happen this year. I really have a big feeling about it because the way his perspective is about sports and watching these highlights and the way he's looking at things and stuff like this, very very telling about him and how he looks at basketball when he's playing it and what his psychology is and what motivates him and what like there's one clip in the when he's watching his highlights from last season and he sees himself in Orlando and he's like, "Oh, this is where I got my bag. I'm in my bag." And like this is when I'm feeling it. Like I could tell those points in the season where Scotty is really like if you see him start to do like a lot of crossover dribbling, like moving real quick and doing little rhythm, that means he's feeling real good and that he is going to do whatever it takes to score. And that those moments when you see him, you're gonna be like, oh, Scotty's feeling good. Look out. Feeling it. He's feeling it. So we understand when he's like that because he kind of talked about it in when watching his highlight clip about when he feels like that. Oh, that's when I'm feeling it and stuff like that. So now we can recognize it because he's telling us about it on his stream. Let's see. Okay, Monique saying so. OG Anunoby spoke to Nick Nurse about he wants to be a part of the offense more. Info on that. Wow. Listen, there's been a narrative that's been put forth this summer by Jake Fisher about OG wanting to expand his role on offense more. And I think that makes sense. I think any player would want to expand their role in general on an NBA team. But I don't know if there's any real specific thing to this. I think this is just a normal, like every offseason. OG's like, well, I want to expand my role this season coming up. And if you look at his path with the Raptors since he got drafted, he has expanded his role every season and expanded himself in some sort of way, whether it's a little bit more offensively every season or something like that. And I think it's kind of silly. It's a lot of hot air and it's unnecessary to talk about this in some ways. But I think it's such a topic du jour of the summer that's why interviewers bring it up when they get people like Nick Nurse in an interview. And that's what really was that clip right now, Monique, because this guy's asking him about OG being unsatisfied with his offensive role. And Nick's just answering it to his best ability. And it's just the normal stuff. He said, well, I had an interview with him at the end of the season and we're on the same page. We had a good end of the season interview. And, he has an opportunity to do this if he wants to. He just has to do it. It's not totally up to me and just saying, yeah, the OG's doing this. He has to show it and do it himself. And that it's not that he's being reined in or stopped from doing it. It's just that he has to go and get it and take it and do it. And that we're not holding him back. He wouldn't be upset with the Raptors coaches and the system from not allowing him to be more offensive. It's all set up to allow him to do that more. And Nick was really smart with how he answered it and stuff like that. It's silly. It's so silly. It's just that it's a topic. People want to write questions for interviews, and they see that this is something that's been in the press about the Raptors, and they want to ask about it. And that's the only reason why it comes up and something like this. I don't think it's really a big deal. It's all normal stuff. It could be, you could say, well, what's Chris Boucher saying to you? Or it's like about his role. Does he want to expand? It's like, well, we had a good exit interview with Chris and we talked about a lot of good things to work on this summer and stuff like that. And, it's the same thing. It could be any of the Raptors. It's like OG, pick any of them. It doesn't have to specifically be OG. G saying Bleacher Report ranked the Raps starting lineup as 16th in the league. Yeah, all right. Listen, they're going to come out with all this garbage, these kind of things and stuff like that. I mean, they're all going to put us in the middle, but it's funny that they put us just below halfway point. Well, we'll just have to show them. We'll show them. It'll be fun, and we'll show them. Shane Waters saying, yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, he's laughing at it. I mean, it is. It is ridiculous in some ways, but it's just a part of how they slight us, and it's fine. Tom Duke saying, yeah, G, Nets, Philly, and, of course, the Boston ranked above us. Yeah, okay. There's going to be some bias. There's going to be some bias, and it's silly. Monique saying the Bojan news is so silly. Why? I'm not even paying attention to it. I mean, I'm hearing a little bit about it. There's no reason to make a trade at this point. As I've said before, if we're going to make a trade, it better be for Kevin Durant, and it better not involve certain players that are on our team, like Scotty Barnes. And that's the whole reason why there hasn't been a trade for Kevin Durant, is that they want Scotty Barnes going back the other way, and it ain't going to happen. It's hilarious. Brooklyn fan coming into Scotty's Twitch last night saying, "You're going to be on Brooklyn soon. We're so happy to have you." Yeah, and all the Raptor fans were telling him, "Keep dreaming." And that's what Masai Ujiri is telling Brooklyn right now, too. Keep dreaming. You ain't getting Scotty Barnes. No, you don't. G's saying they ranked the Summer League team as 16th as well, ended up third. No, it's silly, but they have zero thought process. Just throw out the same numbers over and over again. Yeah, it really is that way. It's serious. Like, listen, we got to understand what matters and what doesn't. Publication, making predictions, opinions, people ranking people, doing whatever, blowing whatever hot air. It doesn't matter. It's really what matters is when we get our newspapers and we see the NBA standings. We see what actually happens when the guys are actually playing. So yeah, whatever. People are going to write all kinds of stuff this summer and stuff like that. And it is going to be very disrespectful towards us, and that's going to be fine. That's just normal. This is how it has been for years and years and years. Random Gamer, what's up? What's up, guys? I wouldn't take that list too seriously. That list had the T-Wolves ahead of the Bulls in Miami. That list was whack. Yeah, that sounds like it's a whack list. I mean, I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly what's on it. And to me, it really does sound like it's a waste of my time. So I won't even try and seek it out or look at it. Shane's saying Rap's starting lineup could literally have all of them averaging 15 points per game. What other team has that potential? What if we did something cool? Like we all said, all right, guys, we're all getting 16 points per game in the starting lineup this year. Yeah. And they increase that, all 5 of them. That'd be fun. All right, let's see. Seymour Pape saying, I'm over Summer League. I have repaired my 2 holes in my wall already. Summer League was a joke. Keegan MVP? No, he wasn't. Well, that was interesting. That actually happened last night on the Twitch stream with Scotty. He watched the highlights of Keegan Murray at the Summer League as one of the things he wanted to react to, and he was really big on him, and that he thought that he was pretty good. I'm with Seymour on how stupid Summer League was, but I kind of agree that Keegan Murray did deserve to be the MVP of Summer League in some ways, even though his team didn't do that great. And it is what it is. But for some reason, I feel like it's good that he got it, just because he got slighted in that lottery day pick at the draft day and stuff like that. That lottery pick picture and stuff like that. And man, did you really punch the wall, Seymour? Oh my gosh, calm down, calm down. The Summer League, man. Just wait till regular season comes, man. You're gonna damage in your house. I hope not. Nothing like this. Oh my gosh, Tom Duke saying, "Random, we are used to it." Yeah, always the same narrative being pushed, same kind of sliding, same kind of. We wish and we hope the Raptors are in the bottom quadrant of the NBA and not in the top 15 or not in the top 10 or not in the top 4 of the Eastern Conference. Stuff like that. They hope and pray that's kind of what they want to guide us to, but we don't always like to follow their what they want. That's for sure. Even Spicy P saying him wanting to level up could be twisted to think he is unhappy with his usage. Yeah, exactly. Like you can take all kinds of different statements. There's stuff that Scotty says on his Twitch streams left and right that could probably be taken in bad ways or wrong ways and kind of be like out of context. And that could be, that could be silly and kind of weird and stuff like that. But yeah, it should be called the summer tournament. I don't understand why they don't do this. All right. I want to fix Summer League right now. What they need to do is, all right, there's 30 teams in the NBA. They need to make either a 3 or 4 place tournament. Like they can have Vegas, they could have Orlando, and maybe they have LA or something like that. Or LA, Las Vegas, Orlando. And they send a third of each of the teams to each one. They send 10 teams to each place. And what they do is they have a real tournament, a double elimination tournament, and they figure out which one of those teams maybe they should do 4. Maybe they should do 4, and that way they can have a nice 4 number. And then they have a 4-team tournament that's finally like for the Summer League championship. Because you got to figure it out through doing a tournament. They shouldn't just have them play random schedule, different teams, and then they figure out by strength of schedule or point differential, whatever. Just have a freaking tournament, double elimination, and play all the teams in brackets until they get to the very end. And then you can really say, the Summer League champion is the Summer League champion. It needs to be a tournament. Tom Duke has the right word there. It shouldn't be like a little league. It should be a tournament. And they should be able to say, like, well, this, and then I could get behind them giving somebody rings, because then it's like, well, they got through all the rounds and went to the very end and won it. And that would make more sense to me than this what they're doing. And the problem is they have too many teams involved in Summer League to make the tournament efficient. So they need to break it up into maybe two. Maybe they have two sides. 15 teams on each side. Maybe they have an extra team that's like 16 team for something. And then the two teams that win on both sides play the championship game. Something like that. I don't know. That's what would make more sense to me, and not me make fun of Portland Trailblazers getting Summer League rings right now, because it's silly. Because Chicago actually should have probably got those rings. And we weren't even third, Shane. We were second statistically. We got second in Summer League. Any way you cut it, we were second. So, because New York's not second, just because they played in the championship game against Portland, they lost twice. So they're 3-2. We're 4-1. All right, let's see. Seymour's saying he was the worst pick in the draft. Kings were made fun of. The league then gives it to Keegan because they felt bad for Sacramento. Yeah, that may be what it is. You might be right, actually, Seymour. That they overlooked him. They kind of slighted him. They slight Sacramento, all this kind of stuff. That was crazy. Like the statistic that I heard, or the fact that I heard yesterday, that there isn't a single active NBA player playing right now that has played Sacramento in the playoffs. That they haven't played in the playoffs in so long. There isn't a player that's active playing in the league right now that has ever played the Kings in the playoffs. That is a crazy factoid. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Tom Duke saying 2 holes. How's your hands? Yeah, I'm not sure what you say. Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. 2 holes. How's your hands? Is that from the stream last night, Tom? Are you saying or something? Monique saying, so Justin Champagnie posts on his Instagram saying, got to be getting going, but is he really focused? I hope so. Justin's got a lot to prove. And like, listen, like we said, this training camp is going to be really cutthroat. And like, listen, last year it was guys like Ish Wainwright, Freddie Gillespie, Yuta Watanabe, Isaac Bonga, Sam Decker fighting for these spots. This year, Justin's in that mix with Armani Brooks, DJ Wilson, David Johnson. These guys are going to be fighting for those spots. And yeah, Justin isn't guaranteed nothing. So he better show up. Like if he's going to be 40 point scoring Justin Champagnie at the end of the season, that's great. That'll really help his case. Seymour saying, my hand is okay. Mixed vegetables, packed it in for a couple hours. Wow, Seymour, you're not lying. Like if you're telling me that you have mixed vegetables on your hand, you did this. Man, listen, I ain't getting on your bad side. I don't want your temper after me. No, I don't. No, I don't. Just be careful and be good to yourself and rest that hand. You don't want to mess it up. And maybe get some pillows. Hit the pillows next time. Don't hit the wall. It's not good. Let's see. Monique saying, Lex, took my word on the Summer League. Told you. Thank you. What are you saying? Took your word on the Summer League? You talking about like the tournament idea or just how it went and stuff like that? I don't know. All right. So getting back to like analyzing our offseason. First thing first, Otto Porter Jr. That's the picture I put for this thumbnail. This is really kind of our big free agency acquisition for this offseason. Otto Porter. Now, what did we need from last year? Well, we needed a better bench. We needed better scoring off the bench. We needed better three-point shooting off the bench. And a lot of that we get with Otto Porter. But once again, I said this before, we've Otto Porter coming to the team. He actually also fits our plans for a positionless scheme. And that is really cool to have it all fit all in one. And to me, that is part of the exquisite craftsmanship of the deciding to get Otto Porter Jr. and bring him to our team, and is how much he fits with the team already that we can tell. And that he just adds all kinds of different benefits, whether it's the veteran leadership, the championship experience, the ability to space the floor for us on offense, his ability to maybe get us offensive points when we're really in trouble because we're not scoring some reason on our offense. This was just a home run, like signing. In fact, like I said before, I didn't think he was possible for us to get as our mid-level or exception or just as a free agent. That it was just a given the Warriors would re-sign him to try and run him back. Well, they didn't, and we got him. And I'm really tickled and proud that Otto Porter Jr. wanted to come here because he believes that the Toronto Raptors are closer to getting back to being in the finals and winning another championship than most other people actually believe that he does. Listen, guys like Otto Porter Jr. and Thad Young, they've been in the league so long, they understand the NBA. And that if they're the kind of guys that can see, well, we want to be in Toronto because we know this is a good thing going and that this is the way to get to rings. So that is a big, huge vote of confidence. When you have a vet of the caliber of Otto Porter Jr. coming in and signing off and saying, we're going to get us to the finals and we're going to win another championship in Toronto, and I want to be a part of it. So that's exciting and badass. So just the fact of bringing him in and stuff like that is just a huge, huge move and really badass. And they're not going to talk about it enough. The impact that Otto Porter Jr. will have for the Raptors this season in all kinds of different ways. And we're so lucky to have him and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Monique's saying the tournament idea. Yeah, if you've been talking about that, it just makes more sense. Summer League should be a tournament, not a schedule of games. And then there's no rhyme or reason to it because people want to understand why a team won. And if you do it the way you're doing it, Summer League, that we don't understand why Portland is actually the one who won because it doesn't make any sense completely. They're not necessarily the best team at Summer League. I'll tell you that right now. Seymour saying pillows on my wall would make me feel like I'm in a padded room, but the pillow punching idea seems way better. Yeah, I mean, I've had to do this at times where I've lost my temper and I felt like punching a wall myself. And I'm like, all right, I got to get the pillow because I was punching the wall at some point too, like you. And that's the same kind of thing. I had to put something on my hand, ice it down. And now all of a sudden I had to go get some plaster or something and fill the hole in the wall and stuff like that. So random gamers saying, I wanted the Sixers to sign him. You're talking about Otto Porter. Well, you guys have I mean, I could easily do, if I was Sixers freak and I was doing the Sixers freak off-season thing, I would be talking about PJ Tucker right now. And I would be talking about all the great things and fits and what he's going to bring to the Sixers because of his defensive presence and the way that he plays and something that y'all lacked last season. That he's going to bring stuff that he had at Miami and Milwaukee before into Philadelphia. And there's a big reason why Jimmy Butler said, fuck all y'all, talking to Joel Embiid and PJ Tucker after that. So, all right, that's enough about Otto Porter. Now let's move on to the draft. And the Raptors only had one draft pick. It was the 33rd pick. And Bobby Webster going into the draft was saying, I want to get a first round talent at the 33rd pick. And I feel like if that was really his main goal for this draft, he did it. He was successful. He really was successful at doing this because Koloko, from what we've seen in Summer League, Christian Koloko looks like a real bona fide defensive superstar. That he may be the kind of guy that really changes the game on that end of the court. It's funny. Steph Curry's making fun of Mutombo last night. He's like, oh, I heard Dikembe Mutombo wants to get a 10-day contract. Yes? Or no. It's like, Steph Curry's, you're hilarious. Well, Mutombo may not be coming back on a 10-day contract, but Koloko may have a similar kind of impact to Mutombo, not on the hugest scale, like not Mutombo, but the way that Mutombo would change games is going to be a little bit the same kind of style that Koloko will change games. And I'm real excited for this. I mean, all right, let's look at needs once again. One of the needs the Raptors needed after this past season is a rim protector. Is somebody a real center? Like, we haven't had a real center since Mark and Serge left. We've all been crying out for this for so long. Well, finally we did it. So in that way, it's kind of like a home run. Wow, what a great draft pick. They finally did it. They got a center. And not only that, once again, we've done this thing where we've done it with really precision craftsmanship, exquisite craftsmanship as a front office. We not only got a center, a guy who can block shots and protect the rim, but we got a mobile center, a center that has like footwork and can move his feet and get up and down the court and lateral quickness and things where he can guard the perimeter and guards as a center and stuff like that. That means he can fit into our scheme once again. That he fits much like Otto Porter to our positionless scheme and being able to switch off each other on defense. That once again, that's craftsmanship by the front office of making a very solid pick that fits with our culture, fits with what we're doing with our team play. And then also all of a sudden he's checking off some of the needs, the wants for our list of what we needed this offseason. So, not a whole lot of moves, not very flashy, but very, very, very right on the bullseye for what we need and taking care of a lot of needs in all kinds of different ways. So, the Koloko thing is so exciting. Like, this dude is going to develop over the next couple of years into getting some sort of offensive game, but don't expect his offense to be that important or to be a big part of who he is on the court in the beginning of his career. That it'll come over time. And he may hit some threes here and there, but he's going to be more a defensive kind of player for us and stuff like that. So, and then right after the draft ended, what do? We went and signed up real quick a prodigy, a kid that's been brought up to be in the NBA, a kid that has a very much preordained destiny. His father played in the NBA, won many championships, Ron Harper Jr. Now, this may be a little bit similar to Justin Champagnie last year. That Justin Champagnie had a lot of interest from a lot of different teams, and he chose to come to the Raptors and be a two-way player for us last year. Well, this could have been the similar thing with Ron Harper Jr. He may have had a lot of suitors after the draft that wanted to come get him. And the Raptors were really smart and said, you want a two-way contract? We'll give you a two-way contract right now. And boom, he signed on the dotted line. He knew coming here was great because of the development system here. And it's smart because I like Ron Harper Jr. because, like I said, he's an all-around kind of guy. Like, he can do everything, not really super, super great, but good enough at the NBA level. Like, whether it's rebounding, assists, blocks, steals, three-pointers, defense, offense, he's pretty much all-around kind of player. And that we're going to see more and more of that as his career starts in the NBA. And I think it's just a solid pickup. I think that when I learned more about his personality and his background and who he is, he really does fit our culture. He's kind of got the same kind of like win first mentality, but also he's a very team first oriented person in a lot of ways. Like, him and Scotty have similar like personality attributes. Like, you can tell that they're kind of just really positive, good dudes that are fun to be around and like very supportive of their teammates and stuff like that. So I think Ron Harper is a huge culture fit. I think that it's really smart that the Raptors got somebody who's the son of somebody who's very respected and honored in the NBA community. That in some ways, a byproduct of having Ron Harper Jr. on our team is we get more respect around the NBA just because of his father and his reputation that preceded him with that. So this is tremendous. Ron Harper is going to be very interesting in different kinds of ways and stuff like that. So, we'll have to see what level he gets to. But if he's going to try and be in the NBA for like 10 years, he's going to have to carve out a real role player kind of identity in the NBA in specific things he can be really good at and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see what's up with you guys in the chat. Is what's saying Monique saying everything this offseason was A+. Yeah, I got to agree with that too. Like, I could grade each move, but I would probably be just sounding like a broken record. So I'll just go ahead and say overall, I think it was all an A+, and I'll break down each part and why I feel like they are. The other thing about Ron Harper Jr. is he can bring so many more new fans to us. Like, Rutgers Nation's with us, and his connection to the Filipino community is going to be huge in a lot of ways also. So Seymour saying multiple tampering fines this offseason. Yeah. There's always little like grumblings and stuff. Philadelphia with PJ Tucker is the big one that I'm hearing that's possibly happening, but who knows? There may not be anything that happens with that also. Seymour, sounds like to work out your angst and anger about the summer league, the NBA needs to come and hire you for their securities office. And maybe you could be a tampering investigator. That's what I'm going to do. Like, I put Rahul in the front office for the Raptors and being on the phone and helping them out there. Seymour, I'm going to start thinking you're a tampering officer, a guy who's kind of like out there watching out for tampering. And if you find any, you let me know and let us know about what's going on here and stuff like that. I like that. Tampering securities from the securities office of the NBA. You're under investigation for tampering. Yeah, go see Steve Ballmer first, please. Tom Duke saying Bobby equals a winner. That I think that's very true. In fact, I made this title for this stream today with Masai's name in it, but really I got to include Bobby Webster as the other person who's there. Like if they're both flying the plane of the Raptors, you've got your pilot and your co-pilot right there. And they have to sometimes switch depending on bathroom breaks and stuff like that. They don't have an autopilot like that movie Airplane. That would be crazy because you know that whole part in Airplane. It's iconic. But yeah, they would be the pilots. So I should give a lot of credit to Bobby Webster because he's a big part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing this summer. But I'm sure that he works in with Masai, and Masai really kind of gives him his wisdom and signs off on it. I'm sure that Bobby Webster doesn't just go do stuff. He passes it by Masai Ujiri and said, "Well, what do you think, Mr. Ujiri?" And he said, "Well, yeah, that sounds like it's a smart plan. Let's do this." Stuff like that. Good morning to Sue. Always happy to see Sue. Seymour saying A+ to Bobby. Got everything we needed this offseason. Wish Yuta came back, but Otto fills the spot perfectly. Thank you, Otto's wife. Yeah, I mean, if we look at it in a way, maybe Otto is replacing Yuta Watanabe. Is that an upgrade? Hell yeah, it is. In a couple different ways. No slighting Yuta. Yuta is an amazing person. We love Yuta, always a Raptor legend. But Otto Porter Jr. has a whole other side and a lot of history to him that is very valuable and going to be helpful to us off the bench this season, stuff like that. Monique saying, I call this season the rebirth. And Lex, you should know why I say rebirth. Good morning to Sue from Monique. Rebirth. Yeah, rebirth. Why would they say rebirth? Rebirth. I'm wondering what the rebirth is. Is it the rebirth that we'll finally all be in our building like for the whole season without any capacity problems? I don't know. I'm going to figure this out, that why Monique's saying this. And I should know. She's probably right. It's just I can't think because I'm on like 2 hours sleep, guys. I'm a little wacky today because I didn't sleep at all last night. Stuff like that. Everybody's saying good morning to Sue. That's always nice to see. Seymour saying that would be a gem. Tampering officer. I'm in Officer Seymour Pape here to see whether you have been tampering with PJ Tucker, random gamer. Yeah, we see your call log. Yeah, you called PJ Tucker 2 days before the trade deadline started. That's right. No second round pick for Philadelphia next year. That's right. Officer Pape is on the job. I love it. I love it. Yes, I'm going to get all you guys fictional jobs in the NBA before we're done. Watch. We'll get you guys all jobs. I'm like Joe Biden. I'm putting you all to work. Let's go. So silly. All right. G saying Precious is in Germany looking for Bonga. Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. Precious is in Frankfurt, Germany. And he has just one little clip. He's like, where's Bonga at? He's looking for Isaac. So that's cool. I like that. I would kind of like want to watch Precious hanging out in Germany and having his adventures. Like this could be a cool little indie film. Like they took some nerdy filmmaker went with Precious and we're looking for Bonga in Germany. And like the whole movie would be like Precious walking around in Germany trying to find Isaac Bonga and where he is. And like what misadventures or what happens to him walking around Germany looking for Isaac Bonga. That'd be hilarious. I'd love to watch that. That'd be like some sort of weird Seinfeld, like nothing kind of happens kind of thing, but it's extremely interesting because it's kind of like, Precious trying to navigate his way in Germany, finding his friends, stuff like that. Sue saying, I think we have had a great offseason so far. So Sue's with us too on the A+. It's been a fantastic offseason. And we still have more to cover about the offseason that has been fantastic. Let's see. Monique saying Justin Champagny is in Jamaica. That's right. That's good, Justin. Go down there, please. Just stay away from cameras for a couple months. That'd be great. Just get a break and come back and do things with the basketball first before you start jumping in on interviews. Please just do something good on the court so I can feel good about you being on the Raptors right now. Oh my gosh. Seymour saying the NBA is fining Golden State Warriors owner Joe Lacob $500,000 for publicly criticizing league's luxury tax system and discussing collective bargaining. Yes. Yeah, that's an interesting find. The Warriors office, front office ownership is really weird. Between the thing that happened with Kyle Lowry that one time with getting shoved by one of the owners and different things, their owners are a little weird. They're crazy. They're off the chain and causing problems for their team in different ways and stuff like that. I would think that some of these owners of the Golden State Warriors are probably very cocky and they're kind of like, yeah, we're the owners of the Warriors. And they kind of think they're above the law. And that's why they're doing crazy shit like shoving Kyle Lowry in the middle of a playoff game, or maybe getting in trouble and getting a big fine like this and stuff like that. It's interesting that they talked about this because you don't ever hear about this kind of stuff, especially with front offices and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Blackhawks saying totally disagree. Ron Harper's lineage does not get us more respect. Ron Harper Jr. has to pave his own path first and foremost. Second, we will always be seen as underdogs. Third, we have culture. All right, I'm with you on part of this. I'm with you on maybe I'm with you on 2/3 of it, but not the first part. I'm gonna tell you right now, he does get us some more respect around the league, and I saw it already in the summer league game, the last one we played when Jim Jackson was calling the game. He is normally a Raptor hater. He's not somebody who normally calls the game in any kind of pro Raptor way. He did on Sunday. That's the thing I'm telling you. When we played the Milwaukee Bucks, they really set up the game as two ways, depending on who was going to start to win. And they were looking at Mama Luke Vishili or whatever, and then they were talking about Ron Harper Jr. on our side. And Jim Jackson was so glowing about Ron Harper Jr. You have to understand, he was rooting for Ron Harper Jr. because of his personal connection to Ron Harper Sr., that he is very, very good friends with Ron Harper Sr. And by proxy, he's rooting for his son to do very well. So by proxy, Jim Jackson was rooting for the Raptors to win that game on Sunday. And he was also calling it from a pro Raptors place. He was like rooting for Ron Harper to do well. So that's what I'll say about this, Blackhawk. There's people that played with Ron Harper Sr. that are involved in broadcasting that may give us a little bit of a break just because Junior's on our team. And that's what I mean when I say that. It's not, he is going to have to make his own path and stuff. But realize that Ron Harper Sr. is very loved and respected by the NBA fraternity of past. And all these guys that played with him or interacted with him before, they may be rooting for Ron Harper Jr. and then by proxy rooting for us because they're actually giving us a fair shake. And that's what I was going to say is that they were actually calling it from the Raptors perspective on Sunday. And I loved it. I loved it. It was fantastic and stuff like that. But I will agree with this other two things. Second, we will always be seen as an underdog. And we have culture that is interlocks with this and is a part of the reason why we're so feisty and what it builds what we are and stuff like that. I agree with that also. But yeah, it's not necessarily, I'm not trying to diss Ron Jr. and say that he just has that because of his dad, but in some ways, yeah, he does. It's the same thing with Scottie Pippen Jr. It's going to be the same thing with Sharif O'Neal, that there's people that love their fathers and that they'll get some things in their favor by the NBA community. It's the whole reason why Luke Walton was a coach in the NBA. Come on. Kobe Carl, why was he even playing in the NBA? Because of his dad. And that's the factor I'm talking about and stuff like that. Sue's saying, wow, that's a huge fine. Yeah, go ahead, Golden State. Get a huge fine, stuff like that. Random Gamers in on this. Whoa, 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 officer. There's nothing to see here, officer. Everything is on the up and up legit here, Mr. Pape, Officer Pape. Please, sir. Nothing to see here. There's no tampering here. And Seymour saying, yep, it is somebody has to pay for those Diamond Summer League rings. This is so funny. I love this. Seymour saying 76ers PJ Tucker situation is suspect and Knicks Brunson as well. So these are the two cases on the docket for Seymour Pape to be looking at and saying, look, but it doesn't hurt that they're both Atlantic Division rivals. New York Knicks, what did you do there with Jalen Brunson? He seemed to show up very quickly to JFK Airport. How did he know to get there so soon on trade day? Something's fishy, stuff like that. I love it. Random Gamers playing along. Hilarious stuff. G saying, I think Brunson's father is with the Knicks, so that is definitely suspect. Really? Is Rick Brunson involved in the Knicks organization? Okay. Well, listen, sometimes this can cause folly because I think they're overpaying for Rick Brunson. I think that it's very interesting that they think Rick Brunson is being held back by Luka Doncic in Dallas and that he's going to become some sort of amazing player in New York away from Luka. This is the thing that people don't understand. Somebody like Luka Doncic makes players around him better, like Scotty Barnes. He's the same kind of player like Luka, that players that play on the same team as Luka look better. And they may find this out real quick in New York this season. That maybe they paid a little too much for Jalen Brunson because he doesn't look like the same player when he's not playing next to Luka Doncic. So there's my 2 cents on that. That's it's so interesting. This is so interesting, New York and their moves and what they think they're doing. And if Rick Brunson is working for the New York Knicks right now, that is sus. That's very sus. I'm with you on that. This is very sus, G. Very, very sus. He's the assistant coach on the Knicks team. Well, all right. Nepotism can work the other way also. We've seen it. Like people bring in their sons and they're absolute failures in different ways and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is saying lineage genetics count for something for sure in sports. See it in many sports and yeah, I don't know what that means, EV. Yeah, that's true. Like, listen, one of the people that was up for an ESPY last night was Trinity Rodman. Do you guys know who Trinity Rodman is? Well, do you know who her father is? I think you do by the last name, Trinity Rodman. Yeah, track and field star, I believe, and stuff like that. So, yeah, lineage and like genetics and DNA can be passed down. And if you have really good DNA in certain sports, then sometimes it can really be something. Or you could be like Justin. Your dad's really good at soccer and you become a basketball player. Or like Joachim Noah. His father was really good at tennis, but then he became a basketball player. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. So Seymour saying the NBA forbids. All right, this is him coming in tough. Listen, y'all. Officer Pape has something to say here. The NBA forbids owners and team officials from unauthorized communications regarding collective bargaining. And I feel like some of you organizations, Sixers, Knicks, are skirting these rules and having early contact with your free agent signings over the summer. Didn't you learn anything, NBA teams, from Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls last year with their tampering? We have no tolerance for this in the NBA, and you will be getting a visit from Officer Seymour Pape in the morning to see if your call records with your phones and your texts line up with the timeline of what is legal and not legal in the NBA free agency period. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Come down hard on them, Seymour. Nail them to the wall. Yeah, that's right. Tough justice. Monique's saying we are staying the course, but no major deal still can get championship. Listen, we'll see. Everybody says we got to do a big splash to get somewhere. We're not going to get anywhere with what we got. Well, they don't understand what's going to happen. This team is growing in the middle and the people on it. And Scotty Barnes in particular, I'm going to see something. He's been asking us in the last week, what do y'all think I'm going to average this year? He's like, what do you guys think I'm going to average this year? And I was telling him, I was like, all right, Scott, I think you're going to average 21 points. You're going to get 10 rebounds, and you're going to average about 7 assists. That's what I told him, realistically. 21 points. I think you're going to get over 20 this year. And I think you're going to get 10 rebounds. You're going to get around a double-double, and you're going to get about 7 assists. That's what I told him. He said, you know what I'm going to average, guys? I'm going to average 35 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. That's what he wants to do. He said he wants to be selfish and not pass the ball. He's lying. That's not what he's wanting to do. That may be the way he plays on 2K when he's on Twitch, where he hogs the ball and takes all the shots with his character. But he ain't going to do that in the real world. Trust me. He's going to be a point guard, and he's going to play the way he likes to play. You can see it when he watches his highlights and that one no-look pass he had to Pascal where he's looking over and away from Cleveland, and he just threw the ball up and over it. How much joy he got from hitting that pass and fooling the Cleveland Cavaliers on their defense to make that pass over their heads. It's hilarious to watch him react and say, it's like, oh, I just went right over him. And then Pascal, bam, boom, right in there and stuff like that. So there is a real joy of him in distributing the ball. So I don't expect Scotty to do this, even though he was saying he's going to do. He's joking. He's not going to try and average 35 points a game and only 2 assists. It's not going to be like that. Hilarious. All right, let's see. Seymour saying Charlotte brings back Steve Clifford is a head scratcher. You know what it is, Seymour? I've been thinking about this. Steve Clifford is not a good coach. Steve Clifford is not going to help them. But I think that Charlotte is in the position where after Kenny Atkinson denied coming there, he's like, honestly, never mind. I'm not coming. I'm staying in Gold State. That what happened was Michael Jordan maybe started to try and call people, and he's like, nobody is answering me. Because listen, if you were not, they don't have a coach. They don't have one of their star players now because he just got felony charges. They don't have another guy because he was caught driving in Kentucky with 3 pounds of marijuana. They have issues with this team. There's a lot of problems with this team right now, and no coach wants to come in and deal with this. So what Jordan did was he took a step back and he brought Steve Clifford back because he already knows what it's like to have Steve Clifford as a coach because he had him before. He knows he has a working relationship with him. So at least he doesn't have the unknowns of bringing in somebody new and seeing if it works. Because in some ways he may not work and he may not be that good, but at least Jordan knows him. And that may be the more important thing right now. I think it is a step back. And I think that they're going to have some huge problems. Like they had some growth last season and looking like they're getting closer and closer to being a solid playoff team. But I think they've lost all that in this offseason with the knuckleheadedness of their roster. And now they're not looking like one of those teams this year going in. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the East. And also, the teams like Detroit and Orlando may jump ahead of them and be more up in the spots where they could have been. They would have been growing into if Bridges hadn't fucked up his career. So it's going to be interesting to see and stuff like that. He's not a good coach. Steve Clifford has never been a good coach. He wasn't a good coach in Orlando. He wasn't a good coach in Charlotte before, and they fired him before. So it's not like it's like, yeah, I'll take my job back because he just wants to work. He's like, yeah, whatever. But he's a placeholder in a way. It's kind of until things stop being such a dumpster fire in Charlotte, it looks a little more attractive to better head coaches, and then maybe they'll get a better person in the job, and they'll just fire Steve Clifford again. So poor guy. It's kind of what is happening to him. Patrick Douglas saying Raptors creating a 3 to 5 year dynastic domination period can probably get 2 in 6 years, but definitely 1. I love this kind of thinking, Patrick. You're right on track, and you're right. This is the way I think too. That like this is the kind of thing people don't want to say this. Steph Curry on the stage at SB's last night this guy's a part of a dynasty. Well, people don't want to believe that the Raptors could build a dynasty in the near future, but they should. That the first one will kind of be like the first Spurs championship in '99. That we could be going into a very fruitful period of the Raptors. And that hopefully what Patrick's saying, I could even see even better. Hopefully, maybe we can get 3 championships in the next 10 years. That would be badass. So let's see what happens. And maybe we can say the Raptors have a dynasty in 5 or 6 years from now. That would be really, really great. And that is the kind of goals and things on my vision board. Fred VanVleet has a vision board. I do too. And some of the things on his vision board are the same as what is on my vision board. And that's multiple Raptors championships. So Blackhawks saying rooting for Ron Harper Jr. and admiring the Raptors in general are 2 different things. It's just summer league. Playoff wise, Americans want Lakers, Knicks, Celtics, Mavericks, and Hawks to start. Hawks. Why are you putting the Hawks in there? I don't know if the Hawks would be in that conversation. I mean, I guess DeJounte makes them a little more attractive and stuff like that, but they're not really an NBA darling team. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, listen, we're talking about different things. I'm talking about broadcast and how they treat the Raptors. And maybe you're talking about how we rank the Raptors overall. I don't know. This may be semantics, what we're arguing here and stuff like that. And it's not really an argument. I don't really disagree with what you're saying. It's just that we're maybe talking about 2 separate kind of different things and something like that. I think that we'll get more respect around the league just because of Ron Harper's linkages to his dad. That's what I'm trying to say and stuff like that. And it is just summer league. I get that. Yeah, they want Lakers and Celtics for sure. Knicks and Sixers to a lesser degree. Mavericks, yeah, sure, because of Luka and stuff like that. So Tom Duke saying, love having Seymour throwing the hammer down. That's right. There's a new sheriff in town. It's Sheriff Seymour Pape, and he's in charge of NBA tampering. Who is tampering out there? You're in trouble now. You're gonna, yeah, look out. We're gonna send the sheriff over and say he might have to have a little discussion with you guys and stuff like that. Yeah, bring the hammer down. The hammer. Yeah. Oh, look out. Ha ha. You go, Officer Pape. Is what Sue's saying. I love it. This is awesome. Seymour saying, what is going on with that Hawkins guy? I hope other teams don't get him. He was shooting from the top logo for us. A better Matt Thomas, in my opinion. A taller Matt Thomas. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Ryan Hawkins. He's interesting. I don't know. See, there's another thing. There's a mystery spot that can go into training camp. We basically got 19 guys. It's looking like for sure there will be in our training camp fighting for the 17 spots. But there's one mystery spot. There's one name that hasn't been added to the list who's going to be going in there and competing with all them. So who knows? The Raptors could make a decision still, besides just Jeff Dowtin from our summer league, or they could just bring in a whole other new name that we haven't even on our radar yet and stuff like that. We'll have to see. Sue's saying, I heard about the drug charges on Harrell. He had a felony charge from Charlotte. It's just really bad. The Charlotte Hornets, like, they have good young players, but they're knuckleheads and they're a little too crazy and a little too out there living wild life and stuff like that. So, yeah, and G's saying it right here. This is the thing. This is serious. Miles Bridges' charges could put him in prison for 11 years. That is how much he could be in. That's insane. That's really, really bad. Blackhawks saying, oh, they go crazy for their Hawks. Overrated. Well, part of it is because TNT's headquartered in Atlanta and it's easy, but they don't really favor the Hawks. They don't give the Hawks as much respect in different ways and stuff like that. It's really more like teams like the classic big teams. Maybe some of the new upstart teams, like they may do a lot with Oklahoma City this year just because of Chet and stuff like that. And they may be trying to really pump up Orlando in some ways this year because of Paolo. But yeah, Golden State obviously is one of these teams too. Let's see. Seymour saying felony charges filed against Charlotte Hornets Miles Bridges for domestic violence and child abuse. Child abuse because the children were present when he did the violence. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. Monique saying Abu Kajab back with the CBL. Nice. That's a great showcase for him. He had a great game on Sunday. This is good for him and his career long term. So proud of a Canadian guy like Abu Kajab doing really well in Summer League. Now going back to CBL, he seems like a cool dude. I'm excited to see where his career takes him. Then maybe he'll get in the NBA somehow, some way, somehow. We'll see. Top saying, I wasn't blown away by Harper Jr. He seems a step slow for the pace of the Summer League. I don't know how that translates to the NBA. Yeah, I know a lot of people. I mean, he didn't really show us anything really. It's really weird. Like, I was really hoping he'd blow up in one of the games and show us some crazy stuff. But Ron didn't have the best Summer League. I don't think he was that good in Summer League, but we're going to be better. We're going to see more. There was stuff in the practices that's probably way more impressive than what he actually showed in the games and stuff like that. Sometimes that's that kind of thing that's happening. I feel like that's what's happening with Malachi. Is that there's incredible stuff that's going on behind the scenes that we don't see in games with Malachi, with his development and how good he's playing, that the team knows, the coaches know, the front office knows, that the fans just don't know because we haven't seen the results on the court. And this may be a similar kind of thing with Ron Harper right now and stuff like that. I want to really give him a chance because I can see the potential of what they see in him and what he could possibly become. And that could be very valuable in some ways and stuff like that. So, yeah, he hasn't really blown anybody away, and he could have, but he didn't. So we'll have to see. Maybe preseason he'll blow some people away, and everybody will be like, okay, now I get what's going on. Because he didn't make his shot very well in Summer League, but he was still solid. That's the thing. He didn't play well, but he still contributed a lot. Like, he had a baseline of contributions across the board still, even though he didn't really play that well. So that's a sign also in a way. Blackhawks saying, we know Hawks are fool's gold, but they want to prop Hawks up like they do for the Knicks. Do they, though? I mean, I used to closely watch the Hawks because I lived down south and I got TBS and I used to watch it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a weird perception I'm missing out on or something like that. Maybe I've been in Canada too long and I don't understand how they're marketing the Hawks now. I know they market Trey Young a pretty good way. And maybe because Murray shows up and stuff like that, they might. I just don't see them as being like one of the big marquee golden boy teams that the NBA really kind of shoves down our throats like the Celtics and the Lakers and stuff like that. Sue saying, I agree. It is unfortunate, but you do get more respect in NBA from your association than you sometimes do from performance. That's true too. Like it's sad but true that there is nepotism in the NBA. There are guys that get better in chances or more chances just because of their father and who he was before. That this is just a part of it. We see it on every job. We see it in coaches, we see it in front offices, we see it in broadcasters, we see it in players. So, that's just how it is. It's there's a family business with the Carey business. Harry Carey was calling Chicago Cub games. So his son, Skip Carey, started calling Atlanta Braves games. So his son, no, there's Harry Carey, Skip Carey, and then Chip Carey started calling games for Orlando Magic. So it can be family businesses and stuff like that. And Ron Harper is just part of the lineage and part of the fraternity already, just partly because of his dad and stuff like that. Top of Top saying, I think the Hawks backcourt is too small and will get exposed defensively. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to mention this at some point, but this is a really good observation, Top of Top. I wanted to see how it worked first, but this is a good prediction possibly for the Hawks that this is a super talented backcourt with Young and Murray, but it is also on the down low an undersized backcourt. And that it can also be exploited in certain ways. Like, what is this team going to do with these two guys against one of our positionless teams? Like, how will we tie them up when we've got like these really big guys that can keep up with them, running around guarding them too? So that's a very good prediction and observation by Top of Top for the possibilities of the Hawks and things. But Hawks fans are getting real big in their britches right now. They're showing up in Scotty's stream and talking trash for the Hawks now that they got DeJounte Murray. It's hilarious. They're a little too early on that. You got to make sure that this is going to be a good thing for y'all first. Blackhawk saying Abu will be on 905. I hope so. That makes sense. We, more summer league guys we get on the 905. That's great because they've got time served and practice already together and familiarity. That's really good. Seymour saying, I would remove the Hawks from that list and add the Heat. There you go. That makes more sense to me. The Miami Heat are more on that list than the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, I think Seymour hit it on the nail on the head there. Sue saying, wow, that is terrible about Bridges. I had no idea about that. Yeah, it's really terrible. And it's a bad mistake. You know what? Not only this, Sue, he did this incident the day before free agency opened. So it's like honestly, and that's why people were making fun of him and stuff like that. But it's like, that is really dumb. Like this, you cannot be that intelligent to be messing your life up like that in such a period of flux where things are a little chaotic, nothing's set in stone yet. You need to wait for that period and then boom, like not wait to beat your wife, but I'm just saying you should be like a little more smart about your place in life and what's going on with your career and stuff like that. He shouldn't have been doing that anyway. And I mean, he gets what he deserves, honestly. He just gets what he deserves. Blackhawk saying Heat is bona fide. Yeah, there you go. See, the Heat are bona fide and stuff like you're talking about teams that are not good, that get a lot of pub and they maybe shouldn't or don't deserve it, like Brooklyn and the Lakers in the last 2 years. All right, let's see. G saying Abu will be on 905 for real. Great. I like his game a lot. I hope he is. I don't know if that's for real or true, but that's a prediction somebody's making, and it looks like it could be. CBL wraps up, and he looks like he's good, and we can get him in there. Let's do it. Top of top, who would you pick between Malachi or Jeff Doughton Jr. if Svi isn't cut and it comes down to them? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to have to cut either of those two guys. In fact, this is a great segue. We'll go into the next part of our offseason look, Jeff Downton Jr. We had Summer League recently, and Jeff Downton Jr. was very consistent, a really sound point guard, did all kinds of great things, mixing up passing and shooting. Really, really sound pro, really good dude. And I'm so happy we got Jeff Downton on our team. Now, because we signed him to the two-way top of top, he is not in danger of leaving this team. We're going to keep him no matter what. Him and Ron Harper Jr. are on the Raptors for sure. I'm pretty sure. And Malachi is for sure also. So we're not cutting either one of them. They have spots. They are counted on my spots for already counted on the team. Now, Svi could get cut, and then that would mean we could sign two guys between like Armani, DJ, and Justin Champagny. And that's the difference. We have one spot for those guys at the very end. Justin, Armani, and DJ Wilson competing for one spot. But if we cut Svi, then we can sign two of those guys. But Malachi and Jeff Downton will both be on the Raptors for sure this year, just so you know. But if I had to pick between the two of them, that's really hard to do. I'd pick Malachi just because of time already in development with us. And it may not be the right decision. It may be that Jeff Downton's the right decision. But for some reason, I got to go with seniority and time served on the team. And the reason why is we've invested in him. And I want to get the payoff on the investment. And Jeff Downton, we haven't invested as much in. So if we had to cut one of the two, that's what I do. But we don't have to cut either of them. They're on the team this year for sure. Seymour saying, Michael Jordan punching holes in his wall, his team when his team was ass. Or right now, because his team is ass. Yeah. Seymour, it may be that he's doing something similar to what you were doing during the Summer League, stuff like that. He is such an ultimate competitor. He hates to lose. And this is like Scotty on the Twitch. He's like, y'all, we need to win on COD. I'm sick of losing. I look bad. I hate losing in front of people on public, on Twitch, and stuff like that. We need to make sure we win. And they had some really nice wins last night on the COD. In fact, Scotty at one point won one game himself, getting the kill shot right at the very end, clutch shot to win the game for his team. And he was so happy and excited. I love seeing him so jubilant and cheering like, yes, I got it. And he's like, do you guys see me? I was clutch. He kept saying it afterwards. Yeah, Michael Jordan's got that same win at everything mentality. So, yeah, he's got to be really frustrated and pissed off about the state of his team and his superstars and the people on his team. This is why he won't coach. Well, maybe he's going to find out he doesn't want to own a team either because the players are pissing him off still and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Monique's saying high praise for Curry on Ron Jr. Yeah, there's another offseason move. We changed our coach at 905 because Patrick Mutombo was hired by the Phoenix Suns to be an assistant coach there. And now we brought up Eric Curry. We talked about this yesterday, a stat head from the head office, guy who's worked his way into the coaching staff. And now he's putting science into coaching and really thinking about it from a scientific level. And it's very interesting, his mindset for how he thinks about coaching and the decisions he makes for his coaching decisions and stuff. And, I think that he got the job because he did such a good job against the Milwaukee Bucks on Sunday in the Summer League game, coaching that game and stuff like that. But you got to wonder, is it weird for somebody who's not necessarily from a basketball background, somebody who may not have the personality that a coach needs on a court to be very demonstrative and outspoken and loud and getting his presence felt or respect, from somebody who's kind of a stat nerd, a guy who sat in an office and kind of looked at a computer and stuff like that, didn't really play basketball and stuff. You got to wonder, is there a disconnect between the passion and like the ability to get like respect on the court when you're that kind of coach coming in? This will be an interesting thing to see. And I want to see what his coaching style is for 905 this year and how he handles the team. Is he going to be fiery? Is he going to be stern? Is he going to be a little scary as a coach like Mutombo was? Or is he going to be more laissez-faire and like a Lenny Wilkins style of player coach? Let the players do what they do, and I'll make the decisions about who's playing when and the minutes and the schemes and stuff like that. But the players are really themselves. I'll be like laid back with them, stuff like that. We'll have to see. Eric Curry's very interesting in that job. We'll have to see how it goes. And he does really like Ron Harper Jr. And he does like Jeff Downton also. He's talking about both of them. Suzanne, I think the Hawks want to be one of the NBA's darlings, but they aren't. And I'm sure that bugs Trey. Well, they could be. Like, he's a darling. Trey Young is definitely a darling and one of the golden boys in the league that they like to promote and put in the media and hype for games and stuff like that. Hawks versus Jazz, Donovan versus Trey Young, stuff like that. So he's already in there like that, but his team needs more respect because, well, they need to do more. They haven't gotten far enough in the playoffs to get that ultimate respect. They've had good success though, and they're getting closer in the last couple years. But we'll have to see. Like we said, like Top said, is this smaller backcourt going to work against certain defensive kind of things and stuff like that? We'll have to see. They're definitely going to be trying to steal the ball a lot. They're going to be dangerous, like for stealing the ball, because that's what Murray's all about, and Trey Young's good at it too. So, all right, let's see. Monique's saying, "I'm surprised Curry never mentioned David Johnson. He's officially gone then." I thought I did hear him mention David Johnson's name though in that interview for a second, but I think you might be right that if we haven't extended him a contract just even for training camp, that this may be like we don't even want to waste one of the 20 spots on him for competing for the final roster. And I think you're right. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be surprised either way that if David Johnson's career with the Raptors is over at this point, it is what it is. This is the business. This is how it is. Blackhawk saying Heat is good and deserves the hype. Still take Raptors over Heat though. Appreciate that, Blackhawk. So okay, so now I'm starting to understand what you're trying to say. You're saying teams that get the hype from the NBA that don't necessarily deserve it. That they get all this stuff ahead of time and they don't really deserve it. Like I felt like that about the Sixers all before they started getting all this hype and stuff like that. Before they started doing well, they were already trying to push the Sixers on us, like they did the Knicks last year. Like the Knicks were supposed to be so much better last year, and they looked like at the beginning of the year they were starting up that machine on the Knicks. But then, of course, the Knicks were the Knicks, and they had to shut it down and say, "No, we can't promote the Knicks like we want to. Sorry, we just can't." Stuff like that. So. All right, let's see. Sue I agree, Mo. Johnson's gone. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, he didn't do anything good in summer league to distinguish himself, and that's too bad. Seymour saying breaking. James Harden has agreed to a 2-year, $68.6 million deal to return to the Sixers. He is so overpaid. Well, the interesting thing about the James Harden deal is basically Daryl Morey said, James told Daryl, said, get whoever you want, do all your free agency and stuff like that, and just give me whatever's left over. So this is what's left over, about 30 million a year, 30 something million a year. Now, one of the really cool things about the James Harden deal, and this is the thing I love, that this really kind of points to that they don't know if it's going to be a dumpster fire or not this season with him, but they want to have an out clause just in case. It's a 2-year deal, but the second year is not guaranteed, and it's not, and he can opt out and become a free agent after this 1 year. So if things go south this season with James Harden and he wears out his welcome, Philly fan hates him, he's a bust, things don't work out, it's just really bad dumpster fire, they can get rid of him next summer. And that's really kind of telling me is like, well, if you really believe in James and think that this is the way you're going to do it, you would be more sure and get him more guaranteed. But they want to have that out just in case things are really bad on the Sixers this year with James Harden. So that was the interesting part of that deal that I noticed is that he's going to be available to be a free agent next year, possibly, if things are really, really bad in Philadelphia this season with him. So that's interesting. All right. Blackhawk is saying there will be a shakeup on our bench. Nick Nurse likes what he sees from these rooks. 3 players have to be cut, so training camp will be competitive. It will really be competitive. It'll be like last year. Who do we have to cut? We cut 3 guys: Freddie Gillespie, Ish Wainwright, and Sam Decker. And this will be a similar kind of thing where we're going to have 3 guys that we're all going to talk about and be like on different people are going to want Sam Decker. People are going to want Wainwright. People are going to want Isaac Bonga. It's that kind of thing where we're going to be arguing a little bit about these guys. And going into this, I'm going to say right now, I'm an advocate for DJ Wilson. And actually, this is a good section for me to talk about this because this kind of goes along with the offseason moves and stuff like that. We signed DJ Wilson to this 2-year deal. And I really like it because DJ Wilson fits our long arm positionless scheme. Once again, he fits it so well. He's got a little bit more veteran than some of the other guys fighting for positional battles, as far as he has more NBA experience, which is good because we were so young last year. I want a little bit more vet presence, a little bit more savviness, a little bit more ahead in their career. And then the other thing about DJ Wilson I really, really like is his offense. He's an offensive minded player that we don't have enough offensive minded players on our team in some ways. They're all very balanced. And then the bench was a lot of like not really capable offensive players. And that's what I like about him being on our team. Like Otto Porter is capable on offense coming off our bench. DJ Wilson would be another guy that would be capable on offense coming off our bench and that he fits our positional scheme. So that's why I'm on team DJ Wilson to get that spot. If there's going to be a battle between 3 or 4 guys to get on this Raptor team in training camp and in preseason, depending on how things go, but going into it right now, I am currently in his camp to push for him. Some people will be Armani people. Some people will be Champagne people. Some people, will be, I don't know if there's anybody else. It's pretty much those 3 guys. And there's one other guy who's going to be added later down the road and stuff like that. So, but it will be very competitive and it's going to be exciting, Blackhawk. I just wish it would have happened sooner. We're going to be in a dead period of like not having a whole lot to talk about, which sucks. But we'll see how it goes. Duke Rock's saying when it comes to Flynn and Doughton, training camp might give Flynn the push. He needs to take that backup point job. Well, it's his to lose. He's in the hierarchy there. If Jeff Doughton comes in and plays way better than him, and it just looks like it, he could leapfrog over Malachi for minutes and backup point guard role, stuff like that. So Malachi has to be very much on it and playing really well in all the kind of ways I said, behind the scenes and in the preseason. If he has some good preseason games, we'll know. We'll see how they do in preseason. If Doughton's shining brighter than Flynn, then that's the way it'll happen. It'll probably happen that way. Let's see. G's saying, I just love how proud Doughton is. He is still posting. Yeah, he's really excited. Like, honestly, we cannot understate the journey that some of these guys that are unsure, that don't get drafted, that kind of bounce around, that do different things, when they get more of a sure contract, that euphoria and feeling of, yes, I finally, because we can have imposter syndrome and feel like, do I really belong? Do I really deserve this? Am I good enough? And when you get that kind of contract or get that kind of sign of confidence from a team, it's really self-affirming and makes you feel more confident and better. And that's the thing about it that I love about this, that Jeff Doughton may have had some doubt about himself and being in the NBA. And that this is the kind of thing that makes him encouraged and feel like, yeah, I can hang and I am going to get there. Stuff like that. So Sue's saying, apparently if people swear, I don't see those posts. How do I change that? I want to see all the blue words too. Laugh out loud. Or what posts and where people are swearing? I know I'm swearing in here. Are you not seeing my posts because I'm swearing or something like that? What place are you talking about? Is this on YouTube? What platform? And what are you talking about? What are you not seeing, Sue? I want to know more specifically, please. All right, let's see. Top of top saying maybe your safe settings. You might need to turn off your parental controls, something like that. Top of top saying, why isn't Fred signed yet? I heard it's possibly because he can get more money if he waits. It's probably just a timing thing. It could have to do with different things. They don't have to do it right now. And maybe there's all kinds of different things that are factoring into it with Bobby and Masai, timing it with different things. Could be cap things, could be deadline things. I know that Pascal in particular, they don't want to do his extension until October because they can't and stuff like that. I don't know. It may not be a rush. They may not have to do it this summer. It could be something we're going to wait. Well, we'll just do it next year or something like that. They had preliminary talks about it. And they kind of figured things out with Fred about the timeline for how this is going to be. They haven't been public about it. That's the whole thing. I wouldn't worry about this too much. Fred is very comfortable and happy. We've seen this week the clip with him working out where he's saying he's a shooting guard. And I think that, him saying he wants to be a Raptor for life, this is all pointing to this is all going to get done. That the extension doesn't have to happen this summer, that he's under contract for next year also. So it's not like a mandatory move that has to happen this summer. It can happen next summer and it'll be just the same. It could be that he get more money if he waits too. You might be right. That may be part of it. They may be waiting that way or something like that. Who knows? We don't know all the ins and outs of it. Bobby and them know, and they'll figure it out and they'll time it exactly the perfect time because that's the way they do things. Like if we learn anything from the Kyle Lowry saga last season with the trade deadline in the middle of the season, whether they trade him then or not. Well, they're going to do everything that's going to fit the benefit the Raptors the best. And that was waiting till the season was over, doing a sign and trade, and doing it all in a way that benefited the Raptors the best. And that's what I'm thinking with the Kyle Lowry extension talks is the same kind of thinking. They're going to do it when it makes sense, when it helps the Raptors the best, or it may help Fred the best also. So that kind of stuff. Monique saying Doughton is in the gym right away after signing. They're all in the gym. Listen, they understand. Like, I mean, I know Justin's in Jamaica, but he could be still there in a gym. Like Precious in Germany, he may still be going to a gym there. These guys find gyms where they are, and they get workouts in wherever they are, whether they're in Dubai, like Pascal, or wherever they are. They find the place to work out. Scotty did it in Montreal while he was there over the weekend. He found somewhere to get time in, even though he's on break. These guys are all working. And specifically, Ron Harper Jr., Jeff Doughton Jr., Armani Brooks, we're seeing these guys put it on blast on their IG that they are working hard. Christian Koloko also. He's showing a lot of work also. In fact, he put something on his IG about you got to grind all the time to get to what you want. And that's what he's saying on his Instagram right now. Stuff like that. So Blackhawks saying Fred VanVleet didn't sign because he is going to test free agency. I don't think that's why it is. I think it really has more to do with timing, with deadlines and stuff like that. Maybe they wanted to figure out Otto Porter Jr. and the two-way contracts and everything like that. Maybe we'll hear about it tomorrow. I don't know. Once again, on everything that the front office does, we just got to trust them. They know what they're doing, and they're going to do it at the right time, the right place, stuff like that. Sue's saying, yes, top of top. If Fred extends, he can only get 20% increase, but can get more if he re-signs later. So maybe they're working it out and figuring it out with Fred and stuff like that. Either way, it'll happen the way it's supposed to. Let's see. Top of top saying, I thought it was because they were trying to backload or front load his contract for another acquisition. We still have some money left over from Porter's mid-level contract. Yeah, that's why I'm saying we don't know who this X factor person could be because they still have some money to throw around and bring in a whole new other free agent before the season even starts and stuff like that. So, well, the thing with Fred's current contract is that he signed it that summer when Serge and Mark left, and we were trying to get Giannis. So what Fred did with his contract that he's on right now, he backloaded it. So the first couple of years that he like the Tampa year and the year after that, he which was last year, I guess, he got paid less. He's getting paid more this season and next season, which would allow us getting Giannis when that window opened to possibly grab him with Supermax. That didn't happen. So I do know that this contract that he's on right now is backloaded for these years that are going on right now, stuff like that. So that may be part of it also. I don't know. I don't know enough about contract stuff and negotiating stuff. That's really a weak area for me and expertise. I hate business stuff. I hate money stuff. I hate money talk and stuff like that. I'd rather talk X's and O's. That's just me personally. Some people really love that kind of stuff, and they really get into the cap and all that kind of money and stuff. And to me, my eyes glaze over, and I like to understand it so that I understand what's happening, but I don't like getting too mired in the details too much. Let's see. Monique saying Blackhawk. I'm not worried about Fred. I'm not worried about him either. He's publicly said he wants to be a Raptor for life. I think that his last period, like when he did free agency, he learned a lot about free agency and how difficult it is and how kind of annoying it is. And that he's the kind of guy that doesn't like a lot of upheaval and change. Like he is probably going to be very loyal to the Raptors and take less money as his career goes just to stay with us. He's not the kind of guy who's going to be like trying to gouge us when he's older. He'd much rather be on the team, be a vet, and get a fair price and stick around a winning culture and not price himself out of here. That's really, I see this in him because he's going to make a ton of money in these golden years in the middle of his career. And it may be as he gets older, he could be still a serviceable, good shooter for the team and stuff like that. But he wants to stick around and try and win more rings. So he will be adaptable with his price and how much he gets paid. It's like we're getting Otto Porter on such a deal this year. I'm like, holy crap, how much is Otto Porter getting paid this much this year? Stuff like that. That's amazing. So expect Fred to be that kind of player down later in his career, like a role player kind of guy. And that's why I say we could keep Fred for his whole career. That would be fantastic because he'll work with us with his money. He really will. All right, let's see. Blackhawks saying no way Fred's going to let Brunson have a better contract than him. Well, is he worried about that? Maybe. If they're similar, does it matter? I mean, honestly, Brunson and him are comparable in some ways, like as far as things. I don't think he's going to be that good, though, in New York. I think he's going to be a flop, and they're going to feel like they paid him too much. And that, that'll be a factor in how we perceive the contract with Brunson also. Michael Borland, good to see you again. Until Dolan passes away, the Knicks will continue to suck. Yeah, this is true. He's the owner. He's not going anywhere. The Knicks fans are looking for some sort of way they can get him out of ownership. If they could do what happened to Donald Sterling to James Dolan, they would do it tomorrow. They do it right away. They say, "Oh, can we get you on tape with your girlfriend saying some racist, crazy shit so we can get you out of ownership of the Knicks?" They would do that in a heartbeat. I think this is very accurate. Michael Borland is on point here with this take about the Knicks, that until James Dolan is not involved or not an owner of that team, they're going to be very mediocre or horrible. Basically, that's all they're going to be. And they won't be able to get enough good things going there all at once. That the good things that happen will come and go, and they won't have enough of it all at the same time. Blackhawks saying so many of these teams are propped up by the media regardless of their performance. Meanwhile, the U.S. media exclude us from the conversation even when we were a higher seed. Yeah. Okay. So you're elaborating on this, what we've been saying and talking about. That I totally get that. And yeah, you know what? They probably will prop up Atlanta and Cleveland, those two teams in particular, up above us quicker and faster. Like they were already doing that with Cleveland last year. I don't think Cleveland totally necessarily deserved to be looked at as being a better team than Toronto last year. And so many people in the United States believe this right now. It kind of mirrored the whole rookie of the year battle between Mobley and Barnes. Was that people were really kind of looking at like Cleveland as being more a serious playoff team and more of a serious team on the rise than the Raptors. And I don't think that was totally fair to us. And that kind of is going along with what Blackhawks' point is in talking about the Hawks and other teams that get propped up ahead of us. Like the Celtics were anointed. They actually earned it now. Obviously, they went to the finals. But they've been anointed as this great team way earlier than they actually proved it. And stuff like that. And in some ways, Philadelphia is like that right now. So, yeah, okay, I'm getting what Blackhawk is trying to describe and what he means in the conversation we're having with him. David S. is saying, if he resigns now, Fred is only eligible for a 20% raise. If he waits, he can get more. Okay, and that's probably part of it. It's in his interest. It's probably in the Raptors team interest also for the moment to not try and get him. Let's see. Blackhawks saying Fred VanVleet tested free agency before and only Raptors gave him an offer. He just wants to see if he's getting more offers this time around. He did get an offer from the Suns. If you watch the Parlay documentary about Fred VanVleet, that's illuminating to his free agency that happened. He shows all the behind the scenes stuff. He sees the part where they were trying to decide. The Suns were deciding between him and Chris Paul at that summer during that negotiation. And they went with Paul, obviously, because we see what happened. But the Suns were a serious contender to steal away Fred VanVleet from us that summer. And that Fred was really weighing going to play for Phoenix that summer. So watch Parlay. You'll see what I'm talking about. And also you'll kind of see in that whole process, knowing Fred and his personality, that he didn't like it. He didn't enjoy that kind of stuff. And that he kind of likes certainty and knowing what's going to happen. And that going to another team, just like what Chris said, why he re-signed with Toronto this summer, Chris Boucher, is that there's a whole kit and caboodle of uncertainty when you switch teams. That your role on the team you're already on may not translate, and you may not get played right, and you can really mess up your NBA career by getting traded to a team that you don't fit with. And that it's a whole disaster. And then all of a sudden, boom, so in some ways it may be smart for NBA players to stay somewhere where something's already good. Like if you're in a good place, you have a good role, you're okay with everything, leaving teams and switching around may not be that attractive to players in the future because there's so much unknown about going to the new team, whether you'll the coach will treat you the same way as your other coach, whether you have the same role or get the same opportunities and stuff like that. So, okay, Sue said, Lex, you read a post that said ass, and it didn't show me that post. and it has happened before in other posts that you have read aloud, and I don't see them. I want to see all the posts. Okay. So basically, Sue, what you got to do is in the live chat here, up in the corner, there should be 3 dots, and just see if you have your safe search on or your parental settings on, because you're having a filter that's for children that's on your screen. That's what it is. So you need to go to YouTube preferences and turn off your parental controls is basically what's going on here. David S is saying unlikely, but okay. You're saying that about Fred looking for free agency. Yeah, I think he's already kind of shown his hand that he wants to stay a Raptor. Why would he lie? Why would he say, I want to be a Raptor for life? And then what? He's trying to mess with his contract negotiations on his extension to get into free agency? I don't think so. I think that he's very much on the same page with Bobby and Masai, and that they know exactly what they're doing, all 3 of them together. And that Fred's not in the dark on it. Those guys aren't in the dark on what Fred wants to do. They're all on the same page, and they're working together, and they have a schedule for how they're going to do it. Monique's saying, so I've been keeping up with Dylan Harper on Instagram. 19 points, 10 assists. Not sure what summer showcase this is. I think it's for high school kids coming out of high school to go into like university, because he's about to start at Rutgers, right? So fantastic. He's only like 15 or 16. He's not very old. So I'm not sure how old he is. Maybe 17. I don't know. Dylan Harper's a young, up and coming player, and we'll have to see if he's as good as Ron Harper Jr. and see stuff like that. So Duke Rocks is saying, do you see a problem with the reps pecking order? Scotty's going to be more involved in the offense, which means Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, and OG may have to take a back seat. Well, this is the great thing, and I'm sorry I'm sick, guys. That's why I've been grabbing a Kleenex and stuff like that. I'm a little weird. This is the thing that I see with Scotty and his expanded role on offense. It's not a taking away thing. He's really, like I said, that special kind of player like Magic and Bird, where if you put him in a focal point, he can make everybody else have better opportunities. And one of the things that's going to be really specifically going to do this is his passing. That he's really good at reading the court and understanding the play that's unfolding and being a step ahead in his mind of knowing what to do. And that some of his highlights that he watched recently and reacted to, is like you can tell he's ahead of the game. And what that'll do is it'll make things better and easier for his teammates. In fact, that's why I think last year was like the baseline for how chemistry is on our team. And it was still already okay, but it wasn't really that super great. We weren't really playing with each other. This year, I think we're going to play more off of each other and with each other. And that means if Sky's handling the ball more and he has the ball more in his hands, he's going to be distributing, but he's also going to pick and choose his moments to take over and make his points. But that's going to be the question. When he has the ball, he's going to be a threat in all kinds of different ways. He's going to be a threat for him to score himself, and a threat because he's going to set somebody else up to score. And he has such great targets. Pascal's a great target for him to pass to in all kinds of ways. OG, Chris Boucher, Precious, Fred on the outside. Scotty gets into the low post and he's getting doubled down. He knows Fred's in the corner. He's open. He just throws the ball over his shoulder and boom, Fred's hitting a 3-pointer. So I don't think that Scotty getting an increased role is going to hurt the other guys. In fact, I think he's going to do the opposite. I think he's actually going to make them all better, and their scoring may actually go up with his. That's the crazy thing. That's kind of, the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. The Scotty is there's enough for everyone. There's abundance. And scarcity mindset would say, well, if you're taking something from somebody else, there's not enough. That means they don't have it anymore because you're getting it. Well, if you can get it from out of thin air, you're not taking it from someone. And in some ways, this is a really good kind of mindset to apply to real life, like in everyday life. If you have a scarcity mindset, which is a lot of what money and capitalism, that's what scares people and worries people, is scarcity. But if you start thinking from an abundance mindset, all of a sudden prosperity is found in different ways for you and stuff like that. It's an interesting thing. I can't really get into it too detailed right now because my mind's kind of messed up because I didn't sleep a lot last night. And I could explain it better in a way, but go look up abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. And you may change your life and the way you perceive the world and help you to see opportunities and things that are around you that you didn't even realize you weren't taking advantage of and stuff like that. So, okay, let's keep going. So I don't think it'll hurt them, Duke. Just in summary, I think his increased role is going to help everybody. Actually, Blackhawk saying, I watched the documentary and Fred VanVleet didn't get an offer sheet. Suns didn't put their money where their mouth was. Okay. So you did watch it, and you're saying that I thought that they were involved and stuff like. Well, the way it happened, the way it was, the way it happened, stuff like that. It could be that these guys, they think they have such value on the free agency market, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving right now, and the reality doesn't line up with what they actually thought. And this could be a similar thing that happened with Fred and free agency and stuff like that. I thought that Chicago would definitely throw a lot of money at Fred and try and steal him. And even New York. New York has had money, and they talked about wanting Fred VanVleet for a while and stuff like that. So let's see. Seymour saying Scotty will average 21 to 25 easy this season. Yeah, I'm around there. I'd say 21, stuff like Raymond Jacob, man. So happy to see you, man. I missed you, man. And I'm sorry if I pissed you off or made you upset about my rant the other day. I'm really happy you're here again. Seriously. Sue, for all posts, you need to see the three red dots, and it's not that. Look at the left. It says top chat. Click the down arrow and change it to live chat. Yeah, those are both good troubleshooting things there. And once again, seriously, Raymond, I'm so glad you're back. And listen, man, let's not ever argue about politics and stuff like that. It's not important enough. And listen, the one thing that really pissed me off was you saying that Donald Trump was going to get reelected. That pissed me off so much. That is the way you get my ire. Oh, man, I hate that idea. That is a nightmare to me, honestly. So that was really the whole germ that like really got things out of control with you and I, was that one statement really made me mad. And I'm like, I shouldn't have gone so heavy on him. It wasn't fair to him, honestly. Sue saying thank you. David S is saying Embiid is a fucker. Did you see this, Sue? Embiid is a fucker. Okay, he's just testing the curse word chat filter. He wanted to make sure that David's saying, yeah, Sue can see fucker now. Thanks, David, Raymond, and Lex. There we go. We're helping the world see profanity. We're helping Sue get out of the parental controls on YouTube. That's awesome. Duke saying, so from a usage perspective, Pascal and Scotty, for the most part, will be running the offense while the other three will be playing more off ball. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, Duke. It's the kind of thing where, all right, if we went with just Scotty dribbling the ball up the court, that may be too predictable. Then in some ways, it's really kind of good to have that double barrel shotgun of point forwards. That it maybe Scotty brings it up, and it also kind of gives them rest times or times for themselves to get time off the ball and play off the ball. Because it really is going to be like that. Playing off the ball in the Raptors offense is really going to be better for players. That kind of holding the ball has hurt Fred's game in some ways. And that he's going to get freed up in some really weird ways that you didn't expect because he doesn't have to be the primary ball handler this season. And that'll help Fred's game immensely. And then with Pascal and Scotty both kind of switching off, like it's like having two tanks in your car. Well, I'm going to switch to the alternate fuel tank. You won't gas either one of those guys, and they'll both be able to still be productive with their own scoring. Because if Scotty's bringing the ball up and he's the point forward on that possession, Pascal can get down in the low post and try and get a catch in the low post and get set up for a low post move. Or the opposite. Pascal's got the ball at the top of the key, and Scotty's setting up and posting a littler guy down near the basket. This is an abundance kind of offensive mindset, is what I'm trying to say. That the opportunities and everything will grow for everyone as they share and build together and build more up each other. Scotty really understands this philosophy. It's a very much a Magic Johnson way of things. That Magic elevated everybody's game around him. And I fully expect Scotty making the next leap in his career to have the same kind of effect on all the Raptors. That his passing ability is so uncanny and so great that he's going to be giving these guys golden opportunities to get easy scores. And that is what's going to really drive it right there. Stuff like that. So, Duke, I love what you're saying about this. And I'm glad we're talking about it because this is going to be a big difference from last year. Fred's changing role is going to be a really big difference. All right, let's see. Yeah, they'll definitely because Ochi's already kind of playing off the ball. He's that outlet guy, the guy at the very end of the possession. We're in trouble. The shot clock's winding down. Well, where's OG on the three? He can get the three at the last second in the shot clock. So that kind of stuff. And Gary, of course, Gary's going to get his looks, and he's going to do his little step to the side, his little stuff. He's going to get his time for sure. All right, Blackhawk is saying, Raptors did the best undrafted contact for Fred VanVleet, and then Heat upstaged them by giving Duncan Robinson more. Joke's on Heat, though, because Robinson has been shit compared to Fred VanVleet. Yeah, well, Fred deserves it more than Duncan Robinson and stuff like that. Like, Fred gets so slide and stuff like that. But that is an interesting thing to bring up, the way that all worked out and stuff like that. Is Fred's still on a really good contract. I know some Raptor fans feel like he's overpaid, but I think that they're crazy. David's saying, yeah, Duncan's kind of unplayable. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a one-dimensional player. What is he? He's just a three-point shooter. Does he do anything else good on the court? He doesn't play good defense. Does he really rebound a whole lot? No, he's just a really tall three-point shooter. And that's really kind of, he's like an Andrea Bargnani in some ways over there, Duncan Robinson. Let's see. Sue saying, yeah, Robinson really wet the bed, didn't he? As soon as he got paid, he did absolutely nothing. The Heat must really regret paying him that much. Yeah, he's nothing like the Tyler Hero thing. Tyler Hero's like night and day with him. Tyler Hero is a winner and doing all kinds of crazy stuff since he got paid. Well, Duncan Robinson's kind of been a fail. So they're kind of like they're hit and miss. Max Strus, another great player that they got coming up. David saying, hey, Lex, thanks for posting that Twitch stream with Scotty watch his own highlights. His reactions were awesome. Wasn't that just so enjoyable? I posted it on a couple of Facebook Raptor groups too, and everybody was glowing about it. They were like, holy crap, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing this. I know it's so much gold in it. I love hearing Scotty talk about his teammates in those clips, like talking about Fred and Gary and OG and Chris and all the nice things he says about them in the plays. And you really look at it and you really kind of understand, like, this is a part of their team chemistry. This is a part of the love that they share for each other and the fun that they have on the court, playing with each other and enjoying having that. That's why these guys keep saying, I wouldn't want to play with any other guys in the league, is because they realize this collection of guys in Toronto is very badass and that it's fun in some ways for them to play off each other and discover what we're going to be and how much better we're going to get. It's fun. It's fun to them to see what it's like and see what's up. And yeah, I really enjoyed that too. I've had to watch it like 2 or 3 times just because I see something a little bit more. And there's more of that kind of content from last night on the stream from last night. He did it again, watching some Raptors highlights. And there's some stuff he says about Kem Birch in that one, and just different things about, like, there's a Yuta play that happens, and he talks about Yuta a little bit and stuff like that. So always check out his Twitch, and maybe there's a lot of like stuff that's just not that interesting, him just playing video games and stuff, but there are certain highlights of each part of his stream that are just incredible, and like, oh my gosh, like, he's talking about really crazy stuff, like the question that Shane asked him last night about his ankle, and he just answered, like, when Joel stepped on his ankle, how it felt, that he was only on one leg after that. Holy crap. So, man, the Twitch stream is getting so much better. And if he's going more and more in the direction of doing reactions and less video game playing, it may be even more fun to watch him, because he was watching Flight Reacts last night. And reacting to Flight reacting to stuff. That's a little weird. Reacting to reacting. I don't know. But that's kind of the cool thing with the youngsters these days. Reacting to reactions. I don't know. It's very like leveled and stuff like that. But yeah, you're welcome, David. And that's what we're doing here, man. Raptor Freak Channel is collecting all the information. You guys find out stuff. You bring the information here. We share stuff. And we just make everybody the most well-informed Raptor fans that understand what's going on the best we can. Stuff like that. We're not in the dark on stuff. We know what's happening because we're talking to the Raptors and we're seeing all their content and we're sharing it and we know what's up. We know way better than the NBA media in the U.S. That's for sure. Blackhawk saying, I was actually pissed when Duncan got that contract because he has accomplished half of what Fred VanVleet does. Well, let's let the Miami Heat make some mistakes with their contract signings and stuff like that. And it looked like Myers Leonard was a mistake himself. So, that's good. We want Miami to have some misses. We've been doing really good. We've been hitting pretty good clip on our shooting percentage on decisions and office moves and stuff like that. And, Miami's done pretty good for most part in their career and their front office and stuff, but we need them to have some misses. And it is kind of nice to feel like we might have won the Kyle Lowry trade in the long run. That's really nice. I like that. Let's see. Monique's saying, what was changes in Griffin's playbook you think this season? Changes in Adrian Griffin's playbook? Or or even Trevor Gleason's playbook this season? Okay, so I'm going to guess that Monique is saying this from standpoint of Adrian Griffin's kind of our defensive coach and Trevor Gleason's kind of our offensive coach. And then last season we did the flex offense a lot on our offense with Trevor Gleason's Australian offense that won championships over there. That's that whole passing the ball at the top of the key and then kind of running across like that crisscross at the top of the key. That's the flex offense being initiated. And that I think they'll do more of it. I think that it has been fruitful to them finding easier shots. But I think that last year they relied on it maybe too much in some ways and not enough like on the playing off of each other. That sometimes a flex offense causes them to make an extra pass that's not necessary when they should have shot it and they had a good pass, but they're taking the extra pass because it's a little bit closer and then they miss it because the defender's right there. So sometimes the extra pass is not the best move. It's to take the shot right then and don't take the extra pass. And I want them to recognize that more. And I feel like the flex offense demands the extra pass, even if it's not the best decision in that moment. And that's one of the things I'd like them to maybe clean up and change on offense. As far as the defense, I really like everything we do defensively. The defensive switchability, the switching up of man and zone defenses, the full court pressing, that kind of stuff is really good. And I don't want to change a whole lot about our defense. If you're talking about what Adrian Griffin might tinker with that and stuff like that, I don't think the defense is going to change a whole lot. That we're just going to get even better at it by playing off of each other and understanding more time with each other. And then the presence of Koloko is going to really help our defense in really, really awesome ways, like right away. Seriously, he's going to be a whole other look when he's out on the court and he gets out there, even as a rookie. So that's the kind of stuff. I think that's what you're asking, Monique. I hope that answered kind of your questions there. David S. is saying, I think we have crushed this offseason. Bringing back Boucher and Thad. Otto was a good signing. Koloko was a good pick. All that's left now is recruiting subs and hoping he's getting Armani a roster spot. That's what he wants. He wants Armani to get a roster spot. Yeah, that's another thing I should add. We made sure we took care of business with our own free agents this summer, that we re-signed Thad Young and Chris Boucher right away. We didn't even mess around with this. That in some ways, it's like, the fans, if the fans like it and they're calling for it, and they're saying, you need to re-sign Chris Boucher, the front office kind of listens. Like, well, the fans are saying this. We wanted to do this anyway. Well, the fans are reinforcing it. It's kind of like get Jeff Dowtin this week. Well, Bobby Webster may be like, well, the fans like him. They really think he's good. Well, maybe we need to go and get Jeff Dowtin. Well, this is good. They're taking care of business. It's not a lot of flashy stuff, but they're taking care of important things like re-signing Chris Boucher and Thad Young this season. That was really, really smart. And we got them on good deals that don't really hinder us, that help us, and they're flexible for the future. I really like that Chris's deal is for 3 years and that it's all guaranteed. There's no options. Chris Boucher is a Raptor for the next 3 years for sure. And that's awesome because there's security for him to play and work and like not have any kind of stress or worry about a contract year coming up or this or this or this. He can really double down on really getting good at the role player that he's developing into at this point. And that there's no looking over his shoulder or worry or job insecurity. And that's part of the reason why I really love the Boucher deal. And then Thad's great because we got him on a good deal. He's going to be very helpful. And he was such a great addition for us last season. He really helped in our playoffs. And he just was something we lacked was veteran leadership. And it's good that he's coming back to keep that continuity. He wasn't as important to me as far as re-signing as a free agent this summer, but I'm so happy he is back. It wasn't mandatory, but he was really preferred. And I'm glad they did it. So much good stuff happening this offseason. I mean, we could say every one of these is an A+. That's what Monique and I are just giving straight A's to the Raptors front office for this offseason. Oh, yeah, I love it. All right, let's see. And David is in the Armani camp. I think we knew this already, that David S. is officially in the Armani camp. This is going to kind of be like an election. Some of us will have our candidates for who we want to make the Raptors roster at the very end. And there'll be the Armani Brooks people. There'll be the Justin Champagnie people. There'll be the DJ Wilson people and different people like that. Blackhawk saying offseason has been great. I still think there's going to be a trade before camp. I hope there's no trades. I want to see one more free agency signing possibly, but that's it. I really like what we have. I don't want to shake it up too much. I don't want to make it too much weird. Like, whoa, all of a sudden this person signed, and how is this going to shake up the team and the minutes and who's going to get to play in what role and stuff like that. Sometimes doing more in the offseason can really kind of mess with guys. Like all of a sudden there's a new player on the team that's similar to another guy, and then it gets in their head, and then all of a sudden they're having a bad year because it doesn't always work the right way. David, I really appreciate what you're doing as far as recruiting subs. Keep doing it. I am getting more and more subs. There are new subs that have been happening the last couple of days. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I appreciate any one of you guys. If you like my content, you want to help me grow the channel, help me get subscriptions, get people in here that you know are big Raptor fans that would enjoy my channel, and that'll help me the best. If you want to support the Raptor Freak channel, that's the best way. Thank you, David S, from the bottom of my heart. David, and G, by the way, David has passed you on the trivia standings at this point. He had a really good week this week on Tuesday, and now he is number 1 in Raptor Freak trivia. So look out. You might need to get back on it, G. So there we go. I mean, one of the Suborns, I don't know if it's David or Peter. It's one of you guys is number 1. I get you guys confused. There is a Suborn in number 1 right now, though. One of you guys is it Peter or David? I got to get you guys distinguished in my mind. I'm a fun guy. Alexi, no work today, but get better, bro. Drink some hot tea. Definitely. I got to drink some hot tea. I got some cold water right now, but definitely, I'm a fun guy. I'm glad you got a day off. Hopefully, you can go do something fun in the sun. Hopefully, get some summertime fun in and stuff like that. Maybe Scotty Barnes will be twitching. You maybe get to watch him a little bit too, stuff like that. Monique saying, Lex, notice you're halfway to 500 in no time. I appreciate that. I'm real close, Monique. I'm getting more and more every day. I'm growing at least. That's not declining. That's good. But yeah, the numbers, like I said, I started this channel in September of last year. I had 4 subscribers. I have 100 times more than that now. And that's fantastic. And I'm basically saying I'm successful if I have more subscribers than streams that I have, is what I'm looking at. And you guys see that I have like 310 streams now. So as long as my subscriber count is over the number of days that I've streamed, then I feel like I'm doing okay. And I am. I've got a good little cushion above the number of streams I have right now. But I want to keep going. I got to keep going and keep building on it. So let's see. Fun guy saying, finally get to relax today. Got a joint going. You may need one too to start getting headaches. Yeah, I'm going to do that right after I'm done with this. I'll go outside and have my little puff. Because, yeah, it does help me with headaches and different things. Nausea. I've had a lot of nausea with this sickness recently. It's really sucks. I hate feeling like sick to my stomach or having diarrhea and stuff like that. I hate it. Let's see. Monique saying, thank you. Thank you to Monique. I love everything you do, Monique. You are a real super fan of the Raptors, and there's so much love and respect for you. Tom Duke saying, let's go Raptor Freaks. He's got the Raptor shitting fire out his ass right there. I see it. David S saying at Monique, where do you see if the number of subs? I don't see it. They're going to post it at some point. I think my number is actually right at around 400. It's just like just over 400 right now. I don't know specifically because I'm not checking it every day. But the last time I checked it was in the high 300s, and I expect it to be over 400 right now. So that's right around where it is. Seymour saying, Precious still playing the 5. This is a good question for next season. In some ways, I don't want him to play the 5 anymore. That we've got different guys who can do it, but he will have to. This is just mandatory. That we need that depth at the 5 position defensively. This Precious is one of our best defenders at center. You know, Kem Birch and Precious, those are the 2 best guys. Koloko will be one of those guys soon, but he's not officially yet. We have to see him first at the NBA level. Now, I think Precious could be a 4 or more. Like, I'm really intrigued about Precious move down in the position to like the 3 or the 4, because then maybe that opens up him playing the wing more and coming and attacking the basket more and stuff like that. So any way we can slide Precious down to a lower position and not play one of the bigger positions is kind of cool, because that could be very interesting to see him in a different kind of role and different kind of things, like as a slasher scorer kind of like role, instead of playing like grunt kind of stuff near the basket, power forward kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a really cool question. I like that. Officer Seymour Pape. Let's see. Monique saying, click on home. It should take you there. And saying don't encourage who? Who are you saying don't encourage? Tom Duke? We can always encourage. Oh, David's saying it's me. I'm here a lot more often. He can't listen or join the stream as much as okay. It is David. All right, yeah. I don't want to get you guys confused. So David's the regular one. I'll see Peter from time to time. David's leading the trivia. G, you got to come back. And he doesn't want me to tell him that. G's not able to play regularly anyway. But David is the leader now, which is great. David says, my job involves 2 hours of Raptor Freak in the morning. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope you're getting paid while you're watching me. That'd be fantastic. That's a great way to multitask. Get it done. Get paid and watch Raptor Freak. I'm all about that. You rig the system. You do it however you can, buddy. Yeah, it's like I've added it to the schedule. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, I'm dependable. I almost didn't do the stream today. I'm not lying. I'm working on 2 hours sleep. I got up at like 3:30 in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. I've been up since 3:30 right now. I'm like a little zonked and a little out of it. All right, Seymour saying the bench got to get the scoring up. The draft last year with no baskets, the droughts last year with no baskets was bad. Yeah, that was really bad. I hated hearing Matt Devlin say the Raptors haven't scored in the last 3 minutes and stuff like that. The Raptors haven't scored since 5 minutes 30 seconds in the quarter. I'm like, come on, they need to stop having these droughts. And Otto Porter Jr. is a drought stopper. He's the kind of guy that I think can help us with this. DJ Miller's another one. Just some better scoring, dependable, so we don't have to have all these guys out there 40 minutes from the starting lineup and stuff like that. The droughts were really bad. We got to fix that. David S. is saying, yeah, I suppose a suspect our bench will contribute way more this year. It will help in so many different things. There'll be better balance. Maybe these guys won't have some kind of injuries halfway through the season because they're overplayed. There's all kinds of different things. We just have more capable guys throughout the whole lineup and stuff like that. It'll be a big upgrade. That's where we're going to upgrade where people can't see, is that we'll have a way better bench this season than last year. And we were a good team with a bad bench. And that was a real detriment in the playoffs also, not having a good bench. That once we have a good bench established this year, when we get the playoffs, it'll really show fruit then. Because we didn't have anybody as weapons to come off the bench. When we had guys dropping like flies against the Sixers, no Scotty Barnes all of a sudden, who could we bring in and kind of depend on after the first couple of guys that we had? It was tough. It was tough to figure out who those heroes would be to step up. Duke saying, I can see Scotty being amazing at running the pick and roll. The dude is a crazy good passer. On the down low, he really is. This is something that somebody said in the stream last night, that on the down low, Scotty Barnes is a top 5 playmaker in the NBA. That nobody wants to realize this or admit it yet. They all want to just be mystified. Why did Scotty Barnes win Rookie of the Year? Why is he so great? Why did they give him that award? Well, there's people that understand basketball, have watched it for years and years, understand the aptitude and the skills and the possibilities for this kid and what he's going to do. And we don't want to look stupid in like 5 years that we didn't give him the Rookie of the Year, because he's going to be something really special. And that is what it is his passing ability is off the chain, is crazy good. And that we saw it, and he's kind of messing around with the no looks. He's kind of messing around with this places. But the thing is, one of the things we've learned from Scotty watching his clips is he doesn't even understand what he's doing on the NBA court half the time. Like there was a shot that he made in his highlights where he took a left-handed hook. And he said, I've never done this in my life, y'all. I was just creative on the court while I was playing, and I just tried something, and it worked. So it's like he's kind of being like exploring his own potential and his own abilities on the court, and he doesn't even totally understand himself. So the more creative and the more he gets more in tune with what works and what doesn't, the more he goes to that more and more, the more steady he'll be as an NBA player. Now think about this. He's already pretty steady as an NBA player. But think about that. He can get even more steadier as far as like different skills that he's continually showing on the court, whether it's his court vision and presence and passing, or whether it's his defensive rebounding, his team defense with the other guys, all this kind of stuff. He gets more dialed in compartments of his game. He can get really fine tune it and get better. But he's kind of half-assing it out there. Like he's trying stuff that he's never tried, and he's surprising his own self with some of the moves and things that he's doing, because it's not totally premeditated. And he's never shot a hook left-handed hook like he did in that one part. And he was like, whoa, I've never done this. And you could tell he's kind of getting that excitement from a creator when you're doing something exciting you've never done and doing something new, that he gets that kind of stuff. Like that whole Magic Johnson layup that he did over his shoulder, if you watch the clip, you know what I'm talking about. He did this layup where he went past the basket and he did a reverse over his shoulder, not looking, and laid it in. It's exactly like a Magic Johnson move. Well, he didn't totally necessarily intend to do that. It's just that his body creatively, kind of like Jimi Hendrix on a solo with his guitar, just made that music and stuff like that. So that's the really interesting thing about Scotty's potential and what he's doing on the court is he's not totally aware or cognizant of what he's doing in that moment physically. That his body he's doing natural instinct and he's surprising himself with the outcome. That's crazy. That is so crazy to me. It's so crazy. But yeah, pick and roll will be, and specifically, Duke, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And like the permutations and variants and different outcomes of how he could pass it and how he's doing it and with who. It could be he pick and rolls with somebody and he doesn't even pass it to the roller. He passes it to somebody else not even involved in the pick and roll. And it's just a brilliant play at that moment for itself in that particular situation. Seymour saying, I need a top 5 finish in Raptor Freak trivia. Do it, Seymour. Just show up every Tuesday. If you're there every week, that is how you get up in the top. That's what G did last year. He was consistently at trivia every single time. I Smoke Rocks saying, if you do a Joel Embiid stream, I really think you'll have so many subs more than you'll be able to handle. Even a topic like why Daryl Morey is the best team president in the NBA will do wonders for you. You know what? I'll think about this. I Smoke Rocks. Maybe I'll hashtag Joel Embiid just to try this out and see if a Joel Embiid centric piece will get more clicks. Now, if I do something on Joel Embiid, I'm going to do it from our perspective. And it may not be very nice. And it may be that I may get a lot of hate from your Sixer Nation. I may get a lot of traffic, but it may be the kind of traffic that Jake Fisher gets for doing something with OG Anunoby in a trade. So, yeah, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this just to get some. I don't know if you guys will subscribe, though. You may just show up and give me a bad comment or something like that. Or something like that. Who knows? Some of you might. I don't know. But I'm thinking about this. This is a good suggestion. I might actually do this. You might be surprised. I'm going to be starving for content. Maybe I'll have to do previews for the different Atlantic division opponents that we have. Like maybe I'll do a Knicks stream. I'll do a Sixers stream, a Nets stream, and a Celtics stream talking about the enemy and breaking them down for the season coming up, kind of doing previews on them. Maybe I'll scout them the way the NBA media scouts us and give them all downgrades and like slight them and slander them with like really poor analysis. Maybe I'll do that the other way just for fun, just to show it how it works the other way, stuff like that. Oh, man. Yeah. David S. is saying, oh, good God, crackhead again. Listen, he's smoking rocks, but we don't know which rocks every single day. Some days it is crack rock. Some days he's just smoking regular rocks from the yard. Sometimes he's smoking pop rocks. And on certain days, I Smoke Rocks is very cool. Honestly, I Smoke Rocks is cool with me. Like he can be a little grating and stuff like that. That's fine. He's earned it. He's been here enough that he understands the vibe of the channel and he fits in. He's not coming in as a disruptive Sixer fan. So I'm okay with him. He's cool. And he can have his point of view and we can work with him. So I'm cool with him. I'm glad he's here. Smoke Rocks, if you have more ideas, go ahead and lay them on me. I'm all about ideas. I'm an ideas guy. I'm not shut off from ideas and stuff like that. So David's saying, here's an idea. Here's a pipe. Here's a rock. There's a cliff. Go get Embiid and bring him with you. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Crack the egg in the frying pan. That's an old school one there for you. Listen, yeah, let's be nice to him. I Smoke Rocks is cool. I'm good with him. There's a little bit of, but that's all in good fun and competition. At David S. is laughing at what David S. is saying to I Smoke Rocks. And we need to watch out because Seymour Pape's been deputized today, and he is an authority of the law at this point on the Raptor Freak channel. And he is going to be able to throw his weight around as Sheriff Seymour Pape. And specifically, his area of interest is NBA tampering. He will be watching you, specifically you, I Smoke Rocks, because you have a Philadelphia connection, and maybe PJ Tucker signed that dotted line a little too soon around the trade deadline. It's a very fishy timing. And that we're going to get to the bottom of this. And Investigator Pape is on the case. I'll tell you that right now. I Smoke Rocks is saying the Sixers dynasty wishes you great health. Awesome. When was that dynasty? I mean, you guys won in '83. I can give you that. I'll give you that. But when was the next one? The dynasty means you got more than one championship. And I don't see that. The Philadelphia Warriors, we're going to go way back there. Golden State takes those championships. And I think they only won one, didn't they? One championship with Jumpin' Joe Folks in 1946-47 season of the NBA. The Philadelphia Warriors won with Jumpin' Joe Folks, the leading scorer of the NBA in the first season of the year. First season of the NBA ever. Leading scorer won the NBA championship, Joe Folks. That's right. Let's see. Seymour is saying, I had a Sixers hat I sent overseas as part of a program. But now I feel bad. Some poor kid's got to wear a crappy hat. That's a sick burn, and I'm not going to get in the way of that one. Listen, I don't get in the way for this kind of offensive from the Raptors side. That's a sick burn. That's a pretty good one, Seymour. I love it. Smoke Rocks is saying, that I'm a cool guy. I appreciate that, Smoke. Right? You're a cool guy too, honestly. Listen, like I said, there's more love for basketball in common than hating each other's teams and stuff like that. Listen, I could hate the Sixers so much right now for putting us out of the playoffs, but I respect y'all for putting us out of the playoffs. We deserved it at that time. We weren't the healthier team, and you guys had a more overpowering, important player, Joel Embiid, at that time. But we would love a second chance to come play you guys in the playoffs again this season coming up and right this situation that you guys put us out last year and stuff like that. But there's all respect. Random Gamers here too. So we got 2 Sixers fans here. I'm already here. So there isn't much you can say to piss me and make me leave. Y'all are stuck with me. Sorry. There you go. See, listen. This is great. Honestly, I want a fan from every single nation here. So everybody can represent it. And maybe we'll become like the UN of basketball teams in the NBA. Like this is international because this comes from Toronto, and we'll make this the UN of fans of the NBA teams, and that we all meet and we all have diplomats, and we all sit and we talk about the state of the NBA and how our teams can stuff like that. Anyway, I'm talking out my ass, but I don't know. It kind of works. I love that there's Sixer fans here. Let's just put it that way. I know that I never thought I would say that in my entire life. Seriously. Let's see. That hat probably getting passed around like Harden. Oh my gosh. Seymour is doubling down on this all kinds of ways. This is the gift that keeps getting regifted. Like Seymour got the hat. He's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I love the Sixers. Yeah, thanks. All right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very much. And then he goes home and he's like, I got to give this to Uncle Fred. And he mails it to Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred opens the package. Oh, Seymour. Yeah, thanks. Sixers. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah. And then he takes it and he wraps it up in a gift and he sends it to cousin Todd. Todd gets it. He opens up. Oh, thank you, Uncle Fred. Thank you. Sixers? Really? What? It's a gift. It keeps regifting. Yeah, that's what it is right here. All right. Anyway, a little aside there of dumb improv comedy. Let's see. David's saying he told us Embiid should be the president of Canada. I know. What is this? First of all, Joel Embiid could go be the president of France since he's going to go play for Team France, and the country Cameroon is disowning you, Joel Embiid. They've all doubled down, and Cameroon is officially Raptors Nation now. Now that we got Christian Koloko coming in, and Pascal Siakam is a good, fine, upstanding Cameroonian who's playing for the Cameroonian national team. And meanwhile, Joel Embiid is turning his back on his home country and getting a French passport and going to play for the French Olympic team. And now Cameroonians are all up in arms and saying, you know what? You don't come back here. You know what? We're on Pascal's team now. We're fully Raptors now. Whatever Sixers, Cameroonian fans were there, they're turning their backs on the team now because Joel Embiid has turned his back on his home country. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Duke Rocks is saying, I'm currently studying Hendrix's playing style. Love his guitar playing. He is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Young people don't understand who Jimi Hendrix was exactly and why he is such a god and one of the greatest artists of any form of medium of putting art into something. Jimi Hendrix is one of the greatest of all time. He should be involved in the names of like Michelangelo and people like that because he truly was somebody who could use the guitar as a conduit to make some amazing music. I mean, the man played with his teeth. He'd bring the guitar up to his teeth and be playing and picking, and it sounded good. It wasn't like bang, 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 just like clangy. It was like he was making notes and playing the music with his damn teeth. And not only that, the damn guitar would be on fire at the same time. Holy crap. I can go on and on about Jimi Hendrix. I could tell you all the favorite songs I have by him. Machine Gun. Oh, don't you shoot him down. All the great music from Jimi Hendrix. Oh my gosh. We can go on and on about Jimi Hendrix. I can talk about Jimi Hendrix all day, Duke Rocks. Oh my gosh. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Seymour Pape. Smoke Rocks is watching out for you because you are the man of the law now. I might make him a mod right now. I'm going to make Seymour a mod. You're getting a wrench today, Seymour, because I want to really double down on you being a sheriff. I want to make this official. Seymour Pape is now a moderator. You have a wrench, and I want to make sure you're a real sheriff in town now. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's see. Okay, let me keep going here. Where was I? Okay, I want to make sure I jumped ahead a little bit. Okay, so David's saying, okay, I will share the love with Rock Smoker. Rock Smoker. All right, let me ask you something. I Smoke Rocks. What was the impetus or the reasoning for your handle? Why are you named I Smoke Rocks? I want the real deal story. Like, why? What is the generation? Like, you understand why I'm the Raptor freak. Like, I understand why Random Gamer is probably Random Gamer 23 because he plays video games and he's just a dude that's playing. Why are you named I Smoke Rocks? Seriously, give me the real answer. I want to know this. We need to know. Burning questions. We need to know. Burning questions. That's a kind of a joke there. Let's see. Monique's saying, let's go Raptors. Top four, top four, top four. Yeah, they can put us at 15 in the overall NBA. They can sleep on us once again. Go ahead and make your Vegas odds, Vegas. Go ahead and make us some money. We come steal your money the way you slight us with the Vegas odds. That's easy money, baby. We're going to put the money on the Raptors to make the playoffs when y'all say you aren't going to make the playoffs. Easy money. Just go ahead and give us the cash now before the season even starts. Because this check is going to be endorsed by the end of the season by what we say the Raptors are going to do. And we will bet against your odds, and we will make major, major money this year. Top four, here we come. Baby, let's aim for number one, baby. Let's get out the gate so quick at the beginning of the season. No Pascal missing. Come right out there and put the foot on their necks right away and start the season like 10-0. Let's do that. The Raptors have been known to start seasons with crazy win streaks when they're all healthy and they're clicking real nice. Let's get like an 11-game win streak to start the NBA season. And then see what the NBA media is talking about the Raptors, what they're going to do, who they're going to be this year when they see us get a 10-game win streak at the beginning of the season. Oh, yeah. It may be that I haven't slept very much last night, but I'm getting in the zone right now. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Random Gamer saying, wow, I have a Sixers hat. Well, listen. All right, this is just us being comedy here. You could do the same thing about this hat and the Sixer Freak channel and stuff like that. This is just, it could be any hat. In fact, I think Celtics works better in this scenario as far as like, oh, burn that hat. I would burn a Celtics hat before a Sixers hat. Seriously. I mean, I like the Sixers in some ways. I'm a big fan of Charles Barkley. I'm a big fan of Dr. J. I'm a big fan of Allen Iverson. So I like y'all's legends. I really like that y'all won the championship in '83 against the Celtics because I always root for the underdog. And when you guys were playing them, you guys were the underdog in some ways. Even though you had gotten to the finals against the Lakers a couple times and lost, the Celtics were kind of the team that were your nemesis. And I was always rooting for the Sixers against the Celtics at that time because I like the underdog. I like the team that doesn't have the better chance. And that's why I was really happy when the Sixers rose up and won their championship with Doc, Moses Malone, Cedric Toney, Morris Cheeks, and Barkley wasn't there yet, unfortunately. And if he had been there, he would have gotten a ring, but he didn't. That's too bad. All right, let's see. Random Gamer saying, I'll burn one and keeping the other, and I'm keeping my Sixers shirts. Yeah, don't burn any of this stuff. You don't have to do this. Come on, guys. Let him be a fan of his team and be that fan, and that's okay. People used to tell me to burn all my Raptors stuff so many times back in the day when we were horrible, and I steadfastly kept on my ugly purple Raptors gear, and I still have a lot of it around the house still, but I don't wear as much of it because it is ugly. It is ugly. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Seymour's laughing. G saying, I had to leave and come back to this hilarious banter. Well, I'm just a little weird because I haven't slept. And were you here? I said, you lost the lead in the trivia, G. David S. is now in the lead on trivia. He overtook you on Tuesday in your absence and stuff like that. So, I know you can't totally make it all the time and stuff like that. So, Seymour's saying, Buddy Hield is not the answer for the Lakers. What the heck are they doing over there in La La Land? Well, they want something to happen. Laker Nation, Fan Nation is kind of like wondering what the hell they're doing. Like, are they going to do anything? Are they going to make any kind of moves to make things better? So they're crying out for it. So in some ways, Rob Pelinka is just grasping for any kind of things or deals or something like that. They got a Juan Toscano Anderson or something from the Warriors. They're getting a couple of good players, smaller name players, but they need to get a few more, especially if they're not going to land this Kyrie thing. And it sounds like they're not, because these guys are talking on the phone, having a meeting, Russell and Anthony Davis and LeBron. That's showing that they think they're going to have to play and coexist with each other because they're trying to circle their wagons and fix this. So that means they're not probably going to get a Kyrie. And that was the really big thing that the Laker Nation wants, to have some sort of hope for their season this year. So Buddy Hield, yeah, that may kind of help them get kind of a little piece that satiates Laker Nation for something happening, at least. So congratulations, Seymour Pape, getting the wrench. That's right. That's right. There's a new sheriff in town. Literally, he's a sheriff, and he has NBA backing of the head office. I Smoke Rocks saying, me and David have a love-hate relationship. That's cool. That's all right. There's some AI VC going on here. And we got VC, David S. We got AI. I Smoke Rocks. Boom. Let's have that 50-point duel. Bam. I like it. Let's see. And Timur's saying, thanks. David's saying, I secretly kind of like you. See, that's what happens. I Smoke Rocks is so wild and crazy and just such a weird handle that in some ways you're intrigued. It's like, this guy's not the average troll. It's like, he may come in here and troll me a little bit, but he's a little bit more than just a troll. I think that's kind of weird. That's interesting. I think that's what it is. It really is your handle that gets you there in the door. So I Smoke Rocks. What does that mean? And even how do you light a rock? Like, what is flammable about a rock other than a crack rock? You can light a crack rock, but how many more other kind of rocks can you light? And that kind of makes you wonder. Yeah, we know what kind of rock you're lighting because it's the only kind of rock you can light. Stuff like that. Anyway, I don't get into that drug talk too much. Duke saying, in my opinion, the Raptors have the potential to be the top tier in the East. Number one ain't out of the question. It really isn't. It really isn't. There's certain points in the season last year where you could say, all right, let's take it from this point in December. Let's take it from this point in January. And you look at our record and what we did, and we're top of the league, baby. That a lot of it was the injuries, the missed time, and just getting ourselves together and figuring it out. Well, if we all are figuring it out and we're all healthy, then I'm saying put that car on the road and see where it'll go. And it could be that we're up there near the top, and they're gonna try and figure out, well, the Raptors are surprisingly at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they'll be like, well, we kind of saw it. We predicted that this is best case scenario, and this is what we're aiming for, and this is what we want. We've been the top Eastern Conference team in the past few years. Why can't we ascend back up into that spot again all of a sudden? We've been there in 2020, we were that number one team in the East. So that's not that long ago. That's just a couple of years ago. Sure, we had a dumpster fire year in Tampa, but that's how resilient and badass we are. We can go through that fire, burn ourselves up, and come out even stronger and better with Scotty Big Four Barnes as a draft pick. So that's what I'm saying. We've been up at the top of the Eastern Conference in the last couple of years. They should expect us to bounce back up and be back up there. I don't know why they think we're going to sue ourselves and we're going to be at the bottom or in the middle. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what we're all about. They're not listening to Masai Ujiri. It's about winning, baby. Oh, yeah. I Smokes Rocks is saying, Raptor Freak, I really don't have any particular reason. It's all I could think of. Does that mean that smoking rocks is so paramount and important in your life? That's all you think about? This is deep. I'm doing a little bit of a deep psychological analyzation of your reasoning here, I Smoke Rocks. And it's really telling me that you may actually smoke rocks in real life, that this isn't a joke handle, that you might actually be doing this. And so I don't know. I wish you had given me a reason. This is actually scarier that you don't have a particular reason. and that this is the thing you thought of. This is wild. You have a South Park picture. That kind of informs me too, that you have a very good sense of humor and that you're up on current events. So yeah, see, I'm reading it. I'm reading into you here. Seymour saying we should host a Sixers bonfire. Every Raps fan with Sixers gear, meet up and burn it. Burn, burn, burn. Listen, I don't want to be anything like fundamentalist Christians where we burn things in like a big fire in the States. There's enough book burning and stuff like that. We don't need to burn stuff. You know what, how we do it, Seymour? Let's burn them with our words. Like you've already had some really nice burns, like that one about sending that hat away. And then people like you feel bad for the person that wherever that hat ended up, that person got that hat. That is a sick burn right there. So instead of burning actual items, because maybe it's contributing to the climate problem, if we burn too many Philadelphia 76ers paraphernalia, let's just go ahead and burn them metaphorically with our words and our writing and our comments in here instead. That's the best way to burn them right now. I like it. I like it. You know, I think you're a fireman too. So you're fireman and sheriff today. So you're both departments, civic departments in the city now. He's a fireman. He's you're in charge of controlled burning, which means you start the fire, prescribed burning, so that there's not bigger fires out in the wild. You burn some of the underbrush, and that if someone catches fire, a forest fire, then it's not so bad because you did some controlled burning. So Seymour Pape is now in charge of controlled burning also, which is controlling the burns in the comments in this live stream. Yeah, I like that. Random Gamer saying, I wish I could say the same, but I hated when y'all won the chip in 2019. Bounce, 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 bounce. Sorry, just had a flashback. Well, it's a little fresh. That may be part of it. It may be over time you may, in particular, grow to understand and appreciate and respect the Raptors championship in 2019 over time. It's still a little too fresh. That bounce, bounce, bounce is too fresh, and it hurts. It hurts. I know it hurts. It hurts just like Vince's stupid shot against y'all in 2001. So I understand. You need some passage of time, and with time, it will heal. And I understand. Listen, at least give us this, Random Gamer. You think it's impressive that the only team in the NBA that isn't American won a championship? That America actually allowed and it actually happened? That's impressive to me in a lot of ways. That we rose against some odds, being kind of the black sheep of the NBA, and got something that in some ways the NBA didn't really want us to get in some ways. So let's see. David's saying, wow, dude, that's sad. All you could think of. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Why didn't you think of something else? Like you could have said, I smoke weed, or I smoke ganja, or I smoke green, or I smoke, you could have smoked a lot of things. I smoke Marlboros. I don't know. I smoke people on the court when I play basketball. I don't know. There's all kinds of different things you could have put in there. It is what it is. You know what? Let's just let him be him. It's who he is. It's fine. It's who he is here. It's fine. This is going to be a really weird stream to rewatch. I'm going to be like, why? All right, I went a little bit too long, which is weirdness. Hey, this is the bonus content. This is the extra content. You get the weirdness today. All right, let's see. I Smoke Rocks has a rebus. He has a rock. He has a fire. He's laughing, and he's laughing a lot. Yeah, I like that. Paul B's here. Good to see Paul B. Raptors are going to be a great team this upcoming season. The league better watch out. Geez, get well, man. Yeah, I think everybody's been a little bit sick. It's weird. There's like a weird sickness going around Toronto. I know Monique has not felt the best this week also. My girlfriend here has not felt really well. We've all tested for COVID. We're all negative. It's not COVID. It's some sort of weird summer flu that has to, it's a lot of phlegm, sore throat, and just I'm feeling achy, stuff like that. But I'm going to feel better soon enough and stuff like that. Click saying I'm late, but what's up? Click. Seen you in the Scotty Twitches recently. I see you pop up and commenting here and there or shutting down fans of other teams. I love you being in there, the good fight. I wasn't there last night. I was glad you were there at least a little bit to fight the good fight, the information war for the Raptors against the other fans, the other teams, and their bullshit and stuff like that. But I'm glad you're here, Click. Let's see. Paul's saying, I've got to watch that Scotty reacting to his videos, his highlights. Thanks for giving that a spotlight. I'm not really into gaming, so if you notice anything useful for sharing for other Raptor freaks. Well, Paul, I'm going to tell you right here, I think that Scotty's going to start changing what he streams. That you may want to start following him on Twitch because he's going away from gaming. He's more into reacting now. It's more like he gets on YouTube and he watches YouTube clips and reacts to them. He's starting to do that way more. And I think he's going to start doing that more of a percentage on his Twitch stream. So you may want to follow him, check in, see if he's playing or not. But sometimes you may check in and he may be actually watching videos like he did with his highlights and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to say right now. There is a bit of that content from last night too. I might go back and clip it out and post it again in the comments here. A little bit of him watching Raptor highlights from last night too. So there's more of this content coming as he just watches. So he was watching MMA last night, which was weird. He's talking a lot about mixed martial arts and the fighters and boxing even. He was talking about that kind of stuff. Very, very interesting to find out his interests. He was playing music too. Like he'd take a minute, he'd break in between the video game, and he was playing a little baby in between. He was like dancing to it and like singing the lyrics with it. Scotty's so cool. All right, let's see. David saying, I thought it was interesting watching Scotty Twitch. It's pretty obvious that he has no idea how good he is already. He was like shocked by some of the plays, almost like he wasn't there. Yeah. Like he doesn't understand what his body's capable of. Like it's kind of like he's in the moment and he's being creative. Like I was saying, like Jimmy would be on the guitar. He's playing it and like kind of playing out of his ass. He's not playing like anything he planned. He's freestyling. He's improvising. And in some ways, that's what Scotty's doing on the court as a basketball player. And that's insane. And that's awesome because it's kind of cool because he doesn't know what he's going to do exactly. And he gets shocked by it. That's what we found out from this reaction. He's like, I don't even know what I did or how I did that. That's amazing. Because he's watching it back. And he's like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I just happened. Stuff like that. So David's saying, hey, Click, we decided Rock Smoker is all right, even though all he thinks about is smoking rocks. He's all right. He's been all right for a while. He's been here for months, and we've been cool with him for a bit. Stuff like that. I Smoke Rocks saying, during the Sixers tanking years, 3 years in a row, Sixers combined for a total of 49 wins. I had no choice but to Smoke Rocks. This is what drove him to it, is the Sixers tanks, is the process. During the process, I Smoke Rocks was a casualty of the process. He developed a habit of smoking rocks to cope with the sadness and dealing with the Sixers and the state of their team and how they were losing and the way things were going. It put him on the rock. And you know what? I respect that because you had to cope and you had to deal with it, how to survive in that situation. We can get you help though. Like I can get you some numbers and maybe you just need to talk to someone and maybe we can get you help and get you off that rock. And if you seriously are on rock, I'm not meaning to be joking. We can do this for real. But if you are being a joker and you aren't being serious, then we can make this comedy also. But this is a serious thing. And I don't want to be making light of a real crack addiction. If you do have a crack addiction, we can get you help. And if you don't, and we're just making fun and we're joking, then we're doing that also. But yeah, message me privately if you really do have a problem. Okay? We'll just say that. All right. I want to make sure. I want to cover all bases. I don't want to be inhumane to someone who is actually dealing with a serious addiction. Very serious addiction. I have very close friends that have dealt with this addiction. It's no joke to get off the rock. It can very much mess your life up. I'm not lying. Click saying, not everything is COVID. It's like people forget about the regular cold and flu. We have to stop being so paranoid. Well, we got to do it just in case. Like the people around me, and they have health issues that they deal with on a regular basis. I have health issues that I deal with. So it's partly just peace of mind and stuff like that. And if it's something, there's some prevalent right now to get a COVID test, then it's maybe just good to know that it's COVID or not. And if it isn't COVID, then it's kind of different. In some ways, you treat it a little different and stuff like that. Random gamers feeling the pain that the rock smoker had about the process and the tanking that they did to get Joel Embiid and different things that happened with their team and stuff. Yeah. See, I like this. Seymour Pape is showing some feelings, like he feels sad, pity for Rock Smoker. And this is what I wish more officers of the law would show for society and have a little bit of more humanitarian look. Don't just look down on him because he's an addict and he's a hopeless case. Help him. Put that hand out to lift him up and bring him out of the gutter of crack rock smoking because of the Sixers being so bad for years. That, we need that kind of thing, stuff like that. So humanitarian cops, people that are there for society and helping society instead of hurting them or punishing people that have drug problems, things like that. G saying, I can't do trivia this summer. Maybe I can make a comeback come fall. Well, that may be what it is. If you can't do it right now and things change in the next couple months, I understand, man. I know you were there. If you could be there, you would be there because you were there last year and stuff like that. You know, it is what it is. This could be very challenging for you. You could get back in there and see if you can do it. And I know you're playing for Monique this year. So there is a little bit of pressure on you because you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for Monique. So you need to make a good showing, see what you can do. Paul B saying, get him to react to the best dunks of the season. Yeah, your clip, Paul. I should get his clip. Well, this is the interesting development from last night. Even though I wasn't on the stream there present to watch him and talking and commenting, I was getting brought up in the stream. Tom Duke brought me up at one point. He said, I'm only here because the Raptor Freak told me to come here, or something like that. He said something like that in the chat. And then later on, near the end, they were really talking about getting this reaction thing going with Scotty. That what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to have a system where people can bring clips like Paul B's clip of all the best dunks from the season and submit it for Scotty to react to. But they're going to need more moderators. That they have moderators for the chat on Twitch, but they're going to need a moderator for Discord and watching things. And when they were talking about it, the first person they mentioned was me. That Lloyd, I wasn't even there. Lloyd said, you should get Raptor Freak to mod your Discord. And I was like, holy shit, Lloyd is putting me out there to be a mod for Scotty. And I'm like, thank you, Lloyd, even though I wasn't there and I didn't see it. I only saw it because it replayed. But if this comes about, I'm going to try and get that spot. And if I get that spot as being a mod for Scotty on Discord, I am definitely going to submit stuff from our channel, from us, that you guys want him to see. I will, if you tell me you want him to see something like Paul B's clip that he put together, I will put it in there and we'll get him to watch it. So there you go, Paul B. There's your development on that. I will try really hard to get that moderator spot. Scotty didn't really say either way how he wanted to do it. There's two guys, me and Guerrilla Marketing, that are almost always in Scotty's Twitch, and they recognize us as the two regulars. And that's why Lloyd mentioned me first, because he knows I'm dependable and I'll show up and I'll help them. So I hope that Scotty listens and they do allow me to get on the team for that. Because who knows what kind of foot in the door this could be as far as being in Scotty's inner circle and stuff like that. Not that I'm trying to worm into his life or anything, but hey, the closer I get to Scotty in any kind of way, that's great because I'll have more analyst knowledge to talk about him in a real way and understanding him, stuff like that. So if I get a moderator position on his Discord, that'll be a huge thing. So Click saying, if y'all don't win this year, that Sixers shit is a dub. I love that, Click. Embiid's time is on the clock. He can't perform like this for many years. He's big, injury prone, and it will wear him down on him. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have to win this year. But also, I'm in that camp, Click, that'll say the Sixers are never going to win with Embiid, just like the Knicks are never going to win with James Dolan. The Sixers are never going to win Embiid because the flawed system of basing your whole team around a center is gone. That all these teams, that whether it's Denver's the same thing. I don't think Denver's ever going to win a championship while Jokic is there. It's the same damn thing. That the center is it's center position. If you put all your money in your most important player as your center, that your team's never going to win. It's not the way it used to be with Olajuwon and Shaq and stuff like that. The centers win championships. This NBA is a different NBA. The center hurts you, actually. That we saw Precious Achiuwa eat Joel Embiid alive when he was guarding him. And this is going to happen more and more as like teams become more like us with the positionless, not having a true center, having guys that are more versatile and moving around. A slow, big center is going to be a detriment to a team. So it's not even about his health. It's not even about him getting older. It's about just him being a center and having your team build around. I know Sixer fans don't want to hear this, but I truly believe this. And I feel like this was part of the reason why the Raptors a couple of years ago went away from somebody like Jonas Valanciunas being on our team. That we realized that when Jonas was on our team, that he's a dinosaur in a way, and it's going to be really hard to win a championship with him being out there on our team. And that we realized that from our own lessons with Jonas. And then even with Mark, we felt that a little bit, even with the championship years, stuff like that. Now, we won with Mark, but Mark wasn't so paramount and important. And in fact, we spent a lot of time with Mark not on the court. in important places. He was really situational in certain ways and stuff like that. So that's interesting. And Click, I gotta agree with you. But you know what? I want to give these guys some hope. I want to give these guys some hope to get off the rock. And I gotta say, you guys are really going to be better this year. I expect you guys to make better noise in the playoffs this season coming up until you play us, and then we'll put you out. And that's what I got to say. But you know what? If we're in the Eastern Conference Finals this year against the Philadelphia 76ers, ooh, how sweet it is. How much fun that'll be, that series. Whoever's going to win is going to get to the finals. That'd be badass. I don't want to play you guys too early. I want to play you guys later in the later rounds so that I know you guys got some success too. And that we both got some success in the playoffs. Because I do want Sixers Nation to build on what they're doing. I don't want them to take a step back necessarily, even though it would benefit us. Because I see it. I see them taking a step forward this season from last year. I don't see them taking a step back. But it's really contingent on James Harden and whether he's being a good citizen or not. If he's not being a good citizen, then it could be a dumpster fire and you guys could be worse. So we'll have to see. Let's see. Seymour saying that Scotty dunk in Miami on the break, that had beers flying, was the dunk of the year for me. Yeah, that was a good dunk. He liked that dunk a lot himself. He kept counting his dribbles up the court. Like he the Orlando one where he dunks, the one that I saw, that's kind of my favorite dunk. He's like 1, 2, 3, and he's like, oh, that's tough. I can get up the court in 3 dribbles, is what he was saying. He's like, I can rebound, dribble the ball 3 times, and be all the way at the other end and scoring a basket with just 3 dribbles. And he kept counting it on his highlight. You see him. He's like 1, 2, 3. He's counting the dribbles at how long it takes him to get across the court on transition. Scotty's so cool. So amazing. Okay, Random Gamer saying, this actually is the most fun I've had in the stream in a long time. Never thought I would have this much with Raptors fans. That's funny. Y'all are cool. That's awesome, man. I like to hear that, Random Gamer. And I hope I'm not listen, this is my opinion about centers in the league. I mean, you guys can believe different than what I'm saying. It's just that how I feel and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't want to build around a center like Embiid at this point in the NBA. That I see that there can be flaws in it. But once again, I wish you guys success. And it's partly just because we're friends on here now. It's like I never would root for the Sixers in any kind of way. So Random Gamer, Blue City, I Smoke Rocks, even the guy who first Sixer fan that came in here at the very beginning, I forget his name, it started with a J. He didn't come in a whole lot afterwards. He didn't stick around. You guys have been so cool and talking to and interacting with. I actually do kind of wish some nice things for Sixers to happen. And I never had that. I've never, ever had that. I've just been enjoying watching you guys struggle. But now I kind of want to see you guys do better. In fact, I want to see y'all be better than Celtics this year. How about that? I want to see you guys have a better record than Celtics and do better than them in the playoffs also. Like, if you guys get the Celtics in the first round and you beat the Celtics and you put them out, I'll be on Sixers Nation with y'all. I'll wear a Sixers shirt. If you guys beat the Celtics in the final, or not in the finals, but in the playoffs next season, I will wear some Sixers gear on this stream. I'll tell you that right now. You take that bet right now, but you have to specifically defeat the Celtics and put them out. That's how I'll do it. All right. If you can put the Celtics out, I'll do that. I'll thank you guys so much. I hate the Celtics way more than anybody else. So that's why I'll do it. All right, let's keep going. Even though this is silly and this is not the best content, it's off the rails. It's a little crazy. I'm not as like focused and on Raptor stuff. We're a little bit all over the place. It's a little bit like a Twitch stream with Scotty and stuff like that. G saying, I'm running away with it. David's saying to G, I'm running away with it. Don't bother. Listen, he's going to run away with it. He's going to try and run away with it. He was very dominant this week in the Summer League stat trivia. I know he probably just had the roster open. He was looking at names. He was typing them in real fast. I don't know if he had the stats in front of him necessarily. These are not illegal things to do in Raptor Freak Trivia. You can have a cheat sheet. This is an open book test. It's just you got to figure out what book I'm using. That's what I'm saying. And I will make them harder in different ways at different times. So don't expect the same kind of trivia every week. Sometimes it may be personal trivia. Sometimes it may be this. And, actually, it's going to be really hard for me to figure out the trivia games going into the season. So you guys might need to know your historical Raptor stuff very soon. Like very historical, like throughout the whole history of the Raptors, I could throw a season out and start talking about it in the trivia. Just a little heads up. And that may be giving you a little bit of advantage, David, knowing that may be what I'm going to do. Duke Rock's saying, I love the analogy. Basketball is like playing guitar. I never thought of it that way, that there are similarities. One is eye candy to the ears, and the other is eye candy to the eyes. The music that is often compared to the sport of basketball is jazz music, is the freeform jazz that you hear in a place like the Rex at the corner of St. Patrick and Queen Street in Toronto. It's the same kind of music you would hear Miles Davis and the beauty and the unexpected spontaneity of discovery in the music. That jazz is like that. That freeform jazz can be very experimental and just creative, and out of the blue, something appears. Well, that's what's happening in basketball sometimes. That sometimes players are so great that they don't understand their full potential or even some of the things that they're capable of, that they discover things, and it's like jazz. And I really like this too. As a musician, Duke, I'm sure that like you can see this parallel from your own experience with music, and that understand that that is what Scotty is. He's a musician on the court, and that he's writing his own music that he hasn't fully realized or understands the tune to. And then we'll see a new album this season coming up. It was his debut album last year. We got some of the the samplers of what his music's going to look like in his albums. Well, the second album's coming out in September, October, and we're going to see a whole new kind of music from Scotty. It may be harder. It may be a little more aggressive. It may be a little bit more beautiful in some ways and melodic with his other teammates. So that's the kind of stuff I like. Yeah. Click saying, if you're a mod, you got to be there every time he's live. Yeah, I will. And I will do that. I'd be committed to do that. I'm fine with that. I have the kind of schedule and the way that I work in my everyday life that I can be on call for Scotty. That's part of the reason why I've hit all of his Twitches. The reason why I missed the Twitch last night is because I'm over at my girlfriend's house and she goes to bed super early. And I was like, you know what? He was on last night. He may not come on tonight. So we went to bed. And then 15 minutes later, he went live on Twitch and I missed it. But I got woken up at 3:30 in the morning. I was tired. I couldn't sleep. So I got up and I saw he was on. And then I watched it then in the middle of the night. So, but I will be there. I'll be committed to be there for him every single time. And I've been really good about it. I've only missed 2 of his Twitches this whole summer. Well, last night was one of them. That's really good considering he's had like 50 Twitches. So let's see. G saying, laugh out loud at David. We'll see. Okay, see, now you're getting that competitive juice going in with G. Listen, you don't try and get in his face like Michael Jordan. He'll figure it out, and he'll come at you. So let's see. Duke Rocks is saying, when you hear or see something poetic, they both translate to the sweetness of the music. Yes, I agree. David S.'s mind has been blown by G and the trash talk. Seymour saying, can you read the top 5 scores for Rap Trivia? I think the top 5 scores, just off the top of my head right now, are David S., G, Sonny Mahal, Raymond Jacob, and Tom Duke. Those are the top 5 in the Raptor Freak Trivia right now. Just off the top of my head, those are the top 5. G, Sonny, David, Raymond, and Tom. Those are the top 5. And Seymour, you're on there, but you're near you're like 8th or something right now, or something like that. 4 hours, yeah, 4 hours. Scotty was on last night. Way too long. And I'm actually a little long on right now. I should probably wrap up because Adrienne is getting moving around behind me. I can tell she wants me to finish. Let's see. Okay, Click. Let me just read through these comments and I'll finish up. Click saying it's still a guards league. I agree. Guard wings. I think it's a wings league. I don't even think it's a small guards league. I think it's a wings league. David's got it here. David S. 750, G 594, Sonny 450, Tom Duke, and Raymond Jacob. Yeah, that's how I saw it. That's how I saw it. Seymour saying, is that accurate, David? Wow. Yeah, David had a big week this week. He had a big jump and stuff like that. So I understand why that happened. Okay, let's see. David's saying, yeah, it's from the last post. It's from Tuesday. Click saying, Raptors have unfinished business because of our injuries. That's right. That Philadelphia series, we got something to prove. Are Philly fans actually happy with Harden? Do they actually think he sacrificed for the team with the money? I think they do. I think it's positive. There's no reason to be down on him. He's moving in the right direction. He's saying the right things. He's showing up to practice this summer. So I think they are pretty happy with him. Let's just see how things go in the season. And if things get real bad during the season, that could change real quick. We'll have to see. Random Gamer saying, I'll make that bet. If it doesn't happen, I'll wear any Raptors gear of your choosing. No, we won't do that. You don't have to wear our stuff if that doesn't happen because you guys may not get the chance to play the Celtics. So I don't want to make you guys have another way bet. I just want to say I'll hire the Sixers as a hitman team to take the Celtics out every year. And maybe this is a standing bet that like going forward in the years to come, if the Sixers ever eliminate the Celtics from the playoffs, I will do this for Sixers Nation as a sign of good faith and a thank you for eliminating the Green Machine out of the playoffs because I hate them. I really do. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Let's see. All right. Like David's saying I got too many wrong. I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see. Click saying Harden's going to be with fresh legs for the first few weeks. Then his game's going to break down close to the playoffs like his whole career has shown. Yeah. That sounds about right. Click seeing the pattern with James Harden in the playoffs and different things that happen. Duke's saying Scotty and Hendricks can be seen as poetry in motion. I love this. I love comparing Scotty Barnes to Jimi Hendrix. There's a lot of interest. It's actually a very interesting comparison that actually makes a whole lot of sense in a lot of different ways. It's very cool. Click saying, do we still have a roster spot open? Yes, we do. We have an unspoken 20th man roster spot for training camp that we have to figure out who's going to be. It could be David Johnson still. He has a long shot at it, but I don't know if it's going to be him. I don't think we'll even waste it on it. It could be Ryan Hawkins, though. And that's not even including Svi. This is an open spot to be in our training camp with Svi still there. So there is still one name that needs to be added to the 20 men that are going to be competing. Now, if we cut Svi, then there is another one. There's two. So there you go. David's saying there is one for DJ Brooks or Justin. Yeah, and then there's the Svi spot. Yep, there's two spots. That's what it's saying. Justin and DJ are already signed. They are, but they're not guaranteed. We could cut Justin and DJ, and they won't play this year. That's what I'm saying. They're playing for the same spot. Armani, DJ, and Justin. They have contracts, but they don't necessarily doesn't mean they're going to make the team. This is a similar situation somebody pointed out the other day with O'Shea Brissett and Yuta Watanabe when we were in the training camp. Yuta outperformed O'Shea in the training camp, and even though O'Shea had the more guaranteed contract going in the season, we cut him, and he wasn't on the roster. We kept Yuta instead. So could be a similar thing. Just because Justin has the biggest contract guarantee out of these guys fighting for the spot doesn't mean he's got the spot. So that is the thing that's going on. There's going to be a training camp battle. And the only people that are safe are our regulars, Malachi Flynn, Ron Harper Jr. and Jeff Doughton Jr. and Koloko. Those guys, and Delano, I'd say he's safe too. But everybody else is not totally safe. Everybody else is in competition and has to nail down a spot. These guys are okay, the guys I just named. Doughton Jr., Harper Jr., Koloko. I'm pretty sure Delano's up in the air. He's not official, but I'm pretty positive that he's got a spot he can claim right now. So it's that kind of stuff. They don't have guaranteed spots for sure. Yeah. Seymour saying Anthony Davis and Ruffles just released jalapeno and lime chips. They may cause injuries. Maybe I shouldn't have made you the sheriff, man. You're the stand-up today too, Seymour. Oh my gosh, you are burning them. You are the fireman. Holy crap, that is awesome. I love that. They may cause injuries. They have to put it on the bag in the fine print in the back. Be careful eating Anthony Davis's jalapeno lime Ruffles. You may get injured while you're eating them. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Monique saying, I think you topped Scotty with your live stream today. Oh, I appreciate that. I need to pay attention to Scotty and when he's on and stuff like that and be there for him if I'm going to be a mod for sure. Click saying, I never asked you this, but I was always curious. What's your job? You go live early in the morning for like 3 hours during the weekdays unless you work at night. Well, I work at my own schedule. I can make my schedule however I want. And really, basically, I work 7 days a week all the time. And I take breaks whenever I want. So I can do this live stream and take amount of time as I want. If something happens, like Scotty gets on Twitch, I can just take a break and not do my job. A lot of I write. I do all kinds of different projects. I do a lot of administrative stuff online for different like websites and groups and stuff like that. So there's a couple of different things I'm doing. But none of them are like a scheduled thing where I have to be there for that. And it's all from my home. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just do it all from my house on my computer. And that way, that allows me the flexibility of how I do this channel and watching Scotty on Twitch and stuff. So it's really, I work when I can and I get as much done during the different times. Like I review music videos and write reviews on videos and stuff like that. I do different writing gigs. And I also have other, like I said, I administrate and moderate different websites. So moderating for Scotty is actually something I already do for what I do. So it's something that I'm already good at. So he'd be smart to hire me as a moderator because I'm already doing that for different people already. So that's it, basically. All right, guys, we're just coming up on 3 hours, and I know my girlfriend wants to hang out with me, and I'm not feeling well, and I probably need a nap, honestly. Thank you for joining me on this rambling, all around crazy think tank today. I think we covered what we were supposed to, looking at the offseason for the Raptors and really kind of analyzing each move and how we feel about it. I feel like they're all been really huge, great moves that, as I said a couple times in the stream, have been done with exquisite craftsmanship by a front office. That a lot of these things that we did, they filled like 2 or 3 needs at once. Like Koloko, brilliant drafting. Otto Porter Jr., amazing signing. Rico Hines getting hired as a developmental coach. I didn't even talk about that. That is a huge, huge development for our team and our coaching staff and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, don't worry about keeping me so long. It's my choice. It's what I do. I want to run the course of the stream as natural as it's supposed to. And it's usually when the comments run out and I run out of what I have to say and stuff like that. That's usually there. But they will get a little more compact, a little shorter in the next couple of weeks, just because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to talk about. And I don't know if I want to do these crazy whining, rambling comedy hours and stuff like that, but it's been fun. I think you guys have enjoyed talking to I Smoke Rocks and going a little aside with some comedy and just the different kind of side stuff that not necessarily Raptors basketball oriented, but just having fun, just talking and chatting on here. It's kind of like what Scotty does on his Twitch from time to time. It's just, we got to talk about French fries sometimes. That's just how it is. All right, y'all. Thanks again. Let's go Raptors. I'll even say a little bit today. Let's go Sixers. I'll say it just for once today, just because of the Sixers participation today. And let's go Raptors. And really excited about the season coming up. It can't come fast enough, but we will weather this time waiting and getting there by showing up every day, and I'll be here. I promise you. Tomorrow, Friday freak out. I'm not sure what I'm going to freak out about. Maybe something that happens that's egregiously pissed me off in this afternoon. And maybe I'll come in and I'll do a rant on it tomorrow. We'll have to see what happens. All right, guys. Love it all. That's right. The wrench. We have the new sheriff in town, Seymour Pape, and he's coming after y'all NBA teams that are out there tampering with your free agents. We are watching you, and we will come down with the hammer of justice on your organizations. You better watch out, Daryl Morey. Yeah, you better watch out. Sheriff Seymour Pape is on the case. And he's got a really good lead on what you did with PJ Tucker there. Oh, Paul B, he's put in a very favorite thing I love to say, fuck Brooklyn. And that's how I'll end it, y'all. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Fuck Brooklyn.